What's up, San Diego? And a happy Tuesday to everybody out there in America's finest city. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Always great to be talking with you each and every day from 10 to 2, as mentioned before. Let's dive into, and what I want to get started with was obviously the World Series game last night. I mean, when I look at the World Series game last night, I haven't watched too much of the World Series because you get to a point, right, where it's like, do I really want to watch the Dodgers in the World Series? And sometimes you have that opinion, or sometimes you have that feeling of once your team is eliminated, you don't want to watch anymore. I find myself doing that a lot of times, where it's as soon as my team gets eliminated, it's like, why am I still watching this? I'm moving on to the next sport. But last night, with the Monday night game done and over with for the NFL, and Kansas City taking care of business against the Commanders. Survivor pick from my group on the Survivor picks. Great to cash in on that. But after that game was over, threw on the World Series. It was late in the game. It was 4-4. 4-4 in the seventh inning. And then all of a sudden it was 5-5. And then it was a lot of baseball being played at Chavez Ravine up in Los Angeles. The Dodgers ended up outlasting the Blue Jays 6-5 in 18 innings in Game 3 of the 2025 World Series. It was 6 hours and 39 minutes. They played almost the equivalent of like 3 baseball games in this day and age of baseball, of MLB baseball with pitch clock and all that stuff. 6 hours and 39 minutes. It tied the 2018 Dodgers-Red Sox Game 3 as the longest World Series game ever played. And the ending came with a cinematic finish. A Freddie Freeman walk-off home run off Brendan Little, giving LA a 2-1 series lead. And Freeman, his second straight year with a World Series walk-off homer, something no player had ever done. There was a lot to unpack with that game last night. I mean, it got to like the extra inning portion a couple of times, where it just seemed like the game was just dragging on. I mean, Toronto's all their best hitters got taken out of the game. And they went into a portion of extra innings where they were playing a lot of players that weren't starting in the game and guys that couldn't get any hits. I mean, every single inning, the Dodgers seemed like they were threatening, almost every single inning. And the Blue Jays did a good job with their pitching staff. But overall, with the Toronto Blue Jays, I mean, they couldn't get any hits. They couldn't get any hits when it mattered. And so now they drop in the series 2-1. They left a record 19 runners stranded and had a brutal night of missed chances, strange plays, and base running blunders. The Toronto Blue Jays did. Here's some of the things that they had happen last night. Bo Bichette was picked off first base after misreading a strike call. George Springer, Toronto's emotional leader, exited with an injury in the 7th inning. Blue Jays used every position player, and their 67 team at-bats set a new series record. Dodgers, for their part, set a series record by using 10 pitchers, including a surprise 12th inning relief appearance by a retiring Clayton Kershaw. The unsung hero, though, for them was reliever Will Klein, a recent call-up who threw 4 scoreless innings in extras, the longest outing of his professional career. In total, the teams combined to leave 37 runners on base and 6 runners thrown out and played 18 innings without a single double play. The game swung from a slugfest early to a war of attrition late until Freeman finally ended it with 1 swing. The win was crucial. Teams that win Game 3 of a 1-1 series go on to win the World Series nearly 70% of the time and 60% when doing so at home under the current 2-3-2 format. So a big look at last night's World Series game. I mean, I put that game on while working on football, and then at the same time, like, I ended up finishing what I needed to do, and then I started watching more on the couch. I ended up falling asleep on the couch and then waking up to Freddie Freeman getting interviewed after the game. That's what I ended up waking up to last night. But the Dodgers ended up taking Game 3. It's frustrating to see. To me, like, I don't know. This World Series is kind of like a win-win. If they win, the Dodgers do, maybe they'll change some things in Major League Baseball. It's also sickening to watch them win. But at the same time, if they lose, then it's like, hey, look, I'll have to watch LA win another championship. But what a fun game that was last night. I mean, the entire time I'm sitting there watching, I'm like falling asleep on my couch. It's like 11 o'clock at night. And I keep thinking about the Toronto Blue Jay fans that are staying up to like 2, 3 in the morning. And then ultimately to lose. I mean, I can't even think about a situation like that watching a Padres game to like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning and then getting a loss. I went to sleep way long before that 24-inning game or 22-inning game, whatever it was, against the Rockies a long time ago for a regular season game. I tell you what, though, as much as like, to me, you can't have the runner start on second base in the World Series. It's like a shootout in hockey. I mean, that is a portion of the game that is designed to just get through regular season games as quickly as possible. But it's not a design to figure out who, deserves to win the game. I mean, this is a particular situation last night where not having the guy in second is going to be a big reason why the game goes super late. Now, if this is in the middle of June, people will be losing their mind. I mean, you even had all the wealthy people for LA leaving early anyway. Got to start sending people down to the lower seats. Too many of the people in the nice seats ended up leaving early in the game. Not really early in the game. This is like 11 o'clock at night. They were giving away fruit to all the players that had start to load up on some sugar and some fuel. I mean, that was a long night for both teams. Again, 6 hours and 39 minutes. Tied for the longest World Series game ever. 18 innings. First time since 2018. World Series Game 3. Freddie Freeman becomes the first player in MLB history with multiple World Series walk-off home runs. Ohtani, 9 times on base, 4 extra base hits, 2 home runs, 4 intentional walks. That's never been done in postseason history. Wonder why. Dodgers used 10 pitchers. Blue Jays set a record with 67 at-bats, 37 total stranded runners. New World Series record. Look at the Dodger storylines from last night. Ohtani continuing to do a bunch of crazy things all the time. Freddie Freeman again delivers in the clutch. Will Klein, unlikely postseason hero for the Dodgers. And as for the Toronto Blue Jays, I mean, so many missed opportunities. 19 runners left on base. Hopefully there's good news on the George Springer situation with his injury. That could shift momentum in this series potentially. Vlad Guerrero Jr. hustled home on a bizarre carom for a momentary lead, but Toronto just couldn't finish the game. And then interesting bullpen usage for the Blue Jays. I mean, to me, it's like whoever was just going to run out of pitching first is going to lose that game. And to me, Toronto seemed like they did that. I don't know how much, LA had left. You would have seen like Yamamoto late. He said he wanted to pitch, said he could do it. Dodgers are now up 2-1. Ohtani starts game 4. And historically, game 3 winners at home in tied series win the title 60% of the time. So we'll see what happens in the rest of this World Series. There's a couple other things that I want to dive into today. And, I mean, these are some things that, like, pop up throughout the offseason, especially for the Padres. And it's hard to talk about when you're still talking about the World Series and the World Series is still being played. Again, free agency doesn't open up until 5 days after the conclusion of the World Series. But something that was interesting that I saw yesterday that we didn't really dive into that I really want to get into today, talking about top Padres free agents in 2025. These are the players that were on the Padres last year that are now free agents in this offseason. And as he does each and every year, Jim Bowden puts out all of the potential free agents. He puts out how much they're expected to make, and the teams that are interested are good fits for said players. And the 5 players that you would want to worry about or should really talk about Dylan Cease, Michael King, Robert Suarez, Ryan O'Hearn, Luis Arise. And when you look at what Jim Bowden has put together in terms of years and money, some of these players might actually be relatively affordable to bring back. Now, that being said, we've gone through this the last couple of seasons, and the Padres haven't necessarily brought back a lot of the players that are up for contract. And they definitely haven't brought back a lot of players that they end up renting at the trade deadline. That's a guy like Ryan O'Hearn. They gave Jurickson Profar a contract extension one time. But other than that, they haven't really handed out a lot of contract extensions, or should I say, re-sign a lot of the free agents that they have had. They've had to go on the bargain and try to find some pitchers. They've had to find some other position players. But as everything kind of shapes up for the Padres, there's a decent amount of players that are out there. But some of these players actually have not unaffordable contracts. And when we come back, we'll talk about it. Out of the 5 players of Cease, King, Suarez, O'Hearn, and Arise, I'm going to tell you who I think the Padres should put all their money towards. As we continue, Braden Surprenant Show, just getting started. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All guests on 97 through the Fan, join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I just saw that they showed so they got the what's the morning show at MLB Network? Is it MLB Central or something like that? I think it's MLB Central.
Sure.
MLB Central's live at Dodger Stadium, as they would be. It is World Series Game 4 tonight. And they brought out the World Series food for Dodger Stadium. Has anybody seen the World Series food for Dodger Stadium? The new food items?
I saw they had new stuff. I didn't see what they were, though. I think one was like
utterly ridiculous is what it is.
Don't they have like a full-on tomahawk?
Yeah.
I
was about to get to that.
Great.
They got a tomahawk steak. They brought out the surf and turf nachos for the for MLB Central. Wonton chips topped with lobster, grilled steak, spicy ponzu sauce, scallion, cilantro, pico, and crema. Sounds delicious. How much does all this stuff cost, by the way? It's like $80 to park at Dodger Stadium for the World Series.
There's a lot of parking spaces available from what I saw last night.
A lot of seats available, too, it looks like. Available at the field level, section 10. You can get the surf and turf nachos. Pistachio cream sundae. Sounds great. This is what you're talking about. The tomahawk platter.
I'm surprised the Braves don't have a trademark on that.
A tomahawk platter? Tomahawk steak?
Yes.
I know. If any team in Major League Baseball had a tomahawk steak, it should be the Atlanta Braves. Char-grilled tomahawk steak served with chimichurri, horseradish cream, and smashed peewee potatoes. You get it at Left Field Plaza Grill or the Right Field Plaza Grill. You got a bone marrow taco. Nice. And then they have this, you got a torta, too.
Hold on. Time out. We can't just
funnel
overlook
cake?
that.
The bone marrow thing?
Bone marrow taco.
It literally comes in like a bone, and then you scoop the bone marrow out, and it comes on the like blue tortillas. I'm just saying, I just, whatever happened to just getting a burger or like a hot dog and a beer?
Freaking rich people, dude! I swear.
Pistachio cream funnel cake. The mega barbecue platter. Chicken chimichurri sandwich. Barbecue beef sandwich. That's bigger than my arm. Pork belly banh mi. Spicy rice cakes. They didn't post any of the prices on this stuff.
I wonder why.
Who is going to a World Series game and getting a tomahawk steak? I can't. Even rich people. If I was as rich as Jeff Bezos, I'd still want a hot dog at a baseball game. You know what I don't want? A tomahawk steak. How am I supposed to eat that? Am I eating it? Could you imagine the guy next to you decides
remember, the lower bowl seats have that table in front of them.
Some of them do, not all of them.
That's why you can get those in the lower section. You up at the peasants up top in the 10th section. In the 10th
I'd love
level,
to see a dude in the top deck. He's got his little butcher block that they serve this thing on. Yeah, there's the surf and turf nachos on MLB Network.
I mean,
the butcher block thing with the tomahawk
carne asada fries, honestly. So I mean, that's not.
It's wonton chips, though.
No, I understand
steak
that.
And lobster on there.
I'm just saying that doesn't look egregious.
You're having lobster at a baseball game is kind of egregious in itself.
How
much do you think that costs? How much do you think that costs?
Not a helmet.
That's got to be like $35.
Yeah, easily.
I got to look this up. They didn't post any prices.
I would make fun of them for munching away on that stuff on air, but we kind of did that a couple weeks ago about our Rick, so I can't knock them for that.
It comes to the territory of doing remotes.
They just showed the bone marrow talk. Like what? Why?
Well, let's put it in. Let's go about this here. The parking's $80, as we've seen. Bill Shaken's posted that. $20 beers.
So you're $100 in and you haven't got to your seat yet.
All eyes immediately went to the tomahawk platter, which sparked curiosity about the price point, given that simple taco platter at Chavez Ravine typically goes north of $40.
$40 taco platter.
Yes.
Regular, not in
That's
the bone
the regular
marrow.
season. Yeah, that's the usual deal. The platter's chimichurri and fingerling potatoes are a nice touch. Tough for more than $150. Is that what it says?
Wait, what?
More than $150 is what it said, I guess.
$150 for that tomahawk steak?
I'm trying to find a real price. People are just guessing. Somebody had to post the price of this thing. I mean, come on.
I've seen people. I watch Twitch streams. I know you chatters out there. You guys, chatters can find stuff. I'm putting a challenge out to the chatters. If you're in a position to where you can, please link us a link of the actual Dodger Stadium prices, please.
It says it's about $150, maybe. $150. I mean, a tomahawk steak.
What do you need a tomahawk steak at a ball game for?
Just to say you did it. I guess if you're gonna spend tickets to get in this place is like $800. It's crazy. It's crazy. $150 is nuts.
Go Aztecs is saying Barstool said 150.
That's what the article I had. I saw Outkick had at 150. A bunch of different places had at 150. You know what? I mean, you had a lot of innings to eat the tomahawk steak last night. Let me tell you. I would have loved. I mean, just the idea of just serving a tomahawk steak at a game is hilarious to me because I want to be sitting watching a baseball game, eating a hot dog, and then look to the guy next to me, just like a normal person walking up, he just has a tomahawk steak. He's just cutting it, eating a tomahawk steak while he's watching a ball game.
Here's my question: what inning did all the beer vendors close?
7th, right?
And you can't open up again because you never know when. You don't know when the game's going to end.
Again. So all of those innings were without. Everybody was sober driving home last night.
That's when people were starting to leave.
Well, for sure. For sure.
It's I need a beer. I can't get one here. I'm finding one.
You know what? I mean, as much as people want to just rip the Dodger fans for leaving early, which is funny in its own right.
It's a World Series game. You guys are the biggest fans.
They stopped selling beer. I can't. They stopped selling drinks. Can't fault them. You know who had it good though was the people in the suites that could still get alcohol. And there are places some of those bars will remain open for an hour past the final out. Mm-hmm. I mean, those places were making a killing last night.
Oh God, yes.
I mean, if you think about Petco Park, right?
We just paid our rent for the building just this night.
Petco Park, the loft is open an hour after first pitch, and then the club down below, the blue whatever, the super fancy club is obviously open the whole time. The other one, what's the other? It used to be called the Lexus Club, and then it's the Omni Club. What is it called now? I don't remember what it's called. But the one that's
the one in the left field.
No, it's behind home plate, but not right behind home plate. The mid-level one.
Oh, I don't know.
I've sat there a couple of times. I forget what it's called. Sam's got tickets there. I don't remember what it's called. It's been named 4 different things.
It's under the press boxes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Lexus Club. It's the Lexus Club now. Omni, Lexus. I mean, it's been 1,500 different things. That place stays open an hour after first pitch, after the final out too. So there's a couple of those bars at Petco Park that are open like that would have been making a killing last night. That I'm sure was making a killing at Dodger Stadium. I can't people nobody's bitching about the food, dude. Nobody's bitching about the food. I'm just saying it's kind of crazy to serve a tomahawk steak at a baseball game. Is that not crazy? That'd be about literally anything else. I can talk about the food if I want to.
It's not crazy. It's wild. It's
insane.
That is mental.
I'm telling you right. Some of that stuff looks really good. I'm a big foodie. I can't when I used to go to games in Texas for the Texas Rangers when I was in college, they were the first of these gigantic monstrosity food items. They had the Beltray Buster, which was a burger that was bigger than my face, bigger than my head probably. They had a bucket of tachos, which were tot nachos that were so good.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had like the boomstick stuff. Have you seen the boomstick before? It's like the hot dog that's like 24 inches long.
Oh, yeah.
2-foot long hot dog that's like massive. You got to eat with like a family of 18.
Natural casings?
Yeah. Only on the select ones.
Gotcha.
That was extra. That was on the Italian one. I'm just saying, like, the food was kind of, but you get it for the experience. So here's my thing on this. If you already know you're going to spend a fortune on the World Series, why wouldn't you just make it the experience? It's not like you're going to the World Series and trying to do it on a budget, unless you're just trying to sneak in. But if you have the means to go to the World Series and you're making it like a big thing, you might as well eat the tomahawk steak. Add the $150 on the $800 tickets, the $80 parking, and the $20 beers.
Yeah, you're already screwed. You're already taking out a second mortgage. You may as well just go for it.
Well, think about it from this perspective. You are treat it like a vacation. Instead of taking a week vacation somewhere or a 2-week vacation to Europe.
Yeah, true.
You're going to a World Series game. Would you not do that for the Padres? Padre fans? If you had the means, Frank, I'm going to ask you this. If you had the means, Frank, and you knew the Mets were going to win, which is tough, but it's a World Series game the Mets were going to win, would you exchange a 2-week vacation in Italy for like get whatever you want in a New York Mets World Series game? The prices are the same. You get to pick. It's going to be paid for. You either go to 2 weeks to Italy or you have whatever you want at a New York Mets World Series game in which they win that game you're at.
I hate you so much.
That's a good question.
The only honest, if I'm being brutally honest here, the only way I would do that is if I knew it was the clincher. If I knew that it was the game that they needed to win in order to win the World Series, that's the only way I would do that.
You wouldn't do it for like game 3?
No.
What if you knew that the Mets were going to win that World Series?
Yeah. If it was
no. They were going to win it later.
No.
But they were going to win that game.
I would want it. No, if I'm giving up something like that, if I'm going to blow that much money, I would want to know that it was.
It has to be a game 4, 5, 6, or 7.
It would be the moment. It would be the game.
All right, fair enough. Padres game, World Series, just to say they won. I'd probably do that. But again, it's the principle of the tomahawk steak. Going down to your seats with a tomahawk steak. I mean, you're such a insert your own word here. I mean, that is so ridiculous.
You're
a bleep.
I'm going to offend.
That's what you are.
I'm going to offend a lot of people here.
Oh no,
you are a BMW driver.
Oh wow.
I'm sorry.
Shots fired.
What
do we got on the BMW drivers
here? BMW
here?
driver if you do that.
Wow. Not a windsock, a BMW driver. Not a Mercedes.
No.
Not a Tesla.
No.
You are a BMW driver. My mom drives a BMW. What does that mean?
She's nice. I've met her.
Okay. All right. She gets the that. She's
excluded.
She bought the wrong car.
Yes, exactly.
Apparently.
Yeah, she's a nice person. She's a very nice person with just so happens to have the wrong car.
Padres diehard's got a good thing. It's not the problem of eating the tomahawk steak. It's eating the tomahawk steak and then having to go to the bathroom later at the ballpark. That's a good point. You load up on the rich food, the tomahawk steak. You get the nachos on the side. You don't care. You're spending money. You're watching the Dodgers play. All you Dodger fans, you know what? It goes to 18 innings. And those bathrooms at Dodger Stadium ain't going to get the job done. And by the way, by the time you're going to have to go to the bathroom, think about how many people have used that restroom for 18 innings.
Could you imagine?
18 innings.
Could you imagine if that game was in Boston and you had to use that latrine?
Oh, nice.
That's even better.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. There's a lot of people you offended in the chat that drive BMWs.
Wasn't there a stadium? I forget what sport it was, but wasn't there a stadium that had like what you would think is a water feature in the middle of it that they had to that was the urinal? Like it looked like a fountain that you'd find at a park or something, but that was the urinal. It wasn't like the trough that's at Fenway.
You've seen something like that?
Yes, I have.
I don't. When we played Oklahoma, I remember having to go to the bathroom before we left, and I remember using the public restrooms, not the ones in the press box. And I think there was like troughs like that, but I'm pretty sure there was troughs where you could be on both sides, where you're like facing somebody.
Yeah, it's like a water fountain that you'd find in like a mall, but that's the trough.
That is the trough. Interesting. Anyway, all right. The ballpark food. Everybody just, to me, it's now. It kind of goes back to the, so I sent you that thing about that LSU kid last night, right?
Yes.
This kid at LSU is foregoing the rest of the season to think about things as his head coach got fired. Now they have 3 losses and they're not going to the playoff. Basically, he's like, well, we're not going to play for anything, so I'm done playing. And some kid was like, what happened to like the love of just playing football?
Yeah, exactly.
That's gone because we've made sports a business for kids. Like I'm not even convinced that most kids even like the sports that they play. I'm sure there's some, but I don't think a lot of them like the sports that they play. I think the same thing is with the food here at the ballpark. It's all for clicks and it's all for Instagram. That's it. We're talking about it. That's all they care about. They're like, I don't care if anybody buys this. We're going to put this on social media. We're going to get some hot influencer to eat a tomahawk steak at Dodger Stadium. We're going to pay for it, and people are going to lose their minds, and then they're going to have to buy it. That's what this is about. Give me regular ballpark food. You know what? Give me a hot dog and a beer at a Padre game. That's all I need. Hot dog and a beer. It is Southern California. We can mix with a burrito every once in a while, but I'd just rather just take the hot dog. All right, too many car jokes in here in the chat. We got to take a break. We got to lock back in. Dylan Cease, Michael King, Robert Torres, Ryan O'Hearn, Luis Arraez, impending free agents for the Padres. Are they affordable? We'll tell you what Jim Bowden said when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. This hour, 97 through the fans, brought to you by Toyota of Poway, voted San Diego's #1 Toyota dealer by USA Today, with APRs as low as 0% and tons of new Toyotas on the ground. No tricks, only treats during the Trucktober sales event happening now only at Toyota of Poway or online at toyotapoway.com in the heart of San Diego. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. How about Rod hitting up a burrito spot? Quesadilla, broth, and a Mexican Coke. That sounds delicious, Rod. Rod gets to work early, and then he gets out. He's getting his lunch earlier, so he always entices the lunch spell. By the way, we have Mary's Donuts in the kitchen today at work. God bless whoever brought the Mary's Donuts today. That's phenomenal. Phenomenal way to start a morning. Kind of. Donuts. I'm good for 2 donuts, and then it's gut rot time. I don't know how many donuts you can have, Frank, but 2, and I'm like,
how big
in your
are they?
heyday.
'Cause I never saw them.
They're not.
Are they like
they're not much.
size donuts, or are they
Mary's
giant?
Donuts, Mary's Donut Shop. And again, rest in peace, Mary, who just passed away a couple of week ago. We talked about that last week. Mary's Donuts is like a traditional mom and pop donut shop. That's what it's like. It's not, they don't have all the, cereal on there. Maybe they do, but at least the ones that I see, it's like classic glazed, classic maple bars, classic cake donuts, all the classic donut shop stuff. That's the best kind of donuts, in my opinion. I don't need any cereal on donuts.
No.
I don't need any candy on donuts. I don't need I don't need ones that are the size of a pillow, like for my face. Just a classic donut. Classic donut shop. We've done the donut bit. I don't want to dive too much into that, but you know what? I might have to venture into the kitchen and see if there is any left. Sales staff likes to eat the donuts. Let me tell you. All right. Let's talk about the Padres for a second. As we usually do, it's the Padres flagship station. We talk a lot of Padres baseball. And right now, as we're counting down the days to end this World Series so we can dive into free agency, That's an interesting question. Off-season segment. What's in Frank's work bag? I don't need to know what's in Frank's work bag.
Computer, I think it's chargers, pens,
natural casing.
Yeah, it's my laptop and anything I need to bring here. Really, there's nothing crazy.
People think there's crazy stuff in there.
No, there's nothing crazy.
We're asking the Italian what's in his briefcase. Do we think that's a good idea?
That was your first mistake.
Yeah. I think they were hoping there was some prosciutto in there and some other deli meats.
About a year ago.
Fresh mozz? They got some fresh mozzarella in there?
A year ago, probably, but not now. Not anymore.
Poor Go Aztecs. Icebreakers. We haven't seen Frank kill the icebreakers in a while. Did you quit those?
Yeah,
he quit them.
I kicked the habit.
Wow. Round of applause for Frank.
I will say I don't remember if I said it on air on Friday. I know I told you that my stomach sleeve surgery, that was a year ago on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Down from 394 to 257 in a year.
Are you at the weight you want to be, or are you still working?
I'm 12 pounds over where I want to be, but I can't complain with being 257 for the first time since, I'm sure, senior year of high school.
It's great. You're looking great.
Thank you.
Let's look at this Jim Bowden top 50 free agent list, okay? And I just want to talk about the Padres guys for a second. Did you put this in order?
Yes.
On the thing? Okay. I did know that Dylan Cease is 8th. So out of all the free agents this year in the offseason, Dylan Cease is ranked the highest Padres free agent, and he is the 8th best free agent in Major League Baseball. He's 30 years old. Last year, he had a B WAR of 1.1. He's represented by Scott Boras. He has started 32 or more games in each of his last 5 seasons, striking out more than 200 batters each year while logging between 165 and 190 innings. This season, he led NL starters in strikeouts per 9 innings, but also saw his walk total increase and his ERA jump to 4.55. His home run per 9 also rose from 0.9 in 2024 to 1.1 this year. The wobble in command is a concern, but his ability to miss bats, durability, and career fielding independent pitching of 3.67 will have several contending teams lining up to bid for his services. Salary comps, according to Jim Bowden: Garrett Crochet, 6 years, 170. Tyler Glasnow, 5 years, 136. Carlos Rodon, 6 years, 162. Blake Snell, 5 years, 182. He lists the Padres, Braves, Mets, Orioles, Cubs, Giants, Angels, Red Sox, and Tigers as team best fits. He thinks that he's going to get 6 years, $187 million.
Thank you for your service. Good luck in your future endeavors. Enjoy your career.
You're telling me you don't want to pay Dylan Cease $32 million a year?
Funny enough, no.
No, neither do I.
Believe it or not.
I agree with that. I mean, is Dylan Cease really worth $32 million a year? We start looking at, like, who else is getting $32 million a year? No, he's not. We kept telling people, somebody's going to pay that kind of money for him. Somebody is. You know what? I look at that. I look at the teams that are interested. I'm going to tell you, the Braves aren't signing him for that. They're not. The Mets might. The Orioles are not. They don't like spending money, and they don't spend any money on starting pitching. Cubs, maybe. They seem a little bit more intelligent than that. Giants won't do it. They're not spending money. Red Sox won't do it. Tigers definitely won't do it. Why would the Tigers sign Dylan Cease when they're willing to part ways with Tarek Skubal? Did you see that, by the way, that report?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Him. They're looking to trade Tarek Skubal, but they're going to spend $32 million on Dylan Cease? Hell no.
Bye-bye, Ethan Salas. Bye-bye.
Might be a crazy winter meeting. I mean, every year San Francisco is always like, we're going to spend money, and then they never do. So maybe they'll spend money with Buster Posey.
Why do you need to spend money when you won the trade deadline?
True. Also true. You know what the name I didn't say that I think is the bet that I think would totally sign Dylan Cease? The Angels. That's got an Angels signing written all over it. Yeah, paying $32 million for Dylan Cease. Well, we need pitching. We like spending money on worthless things. Meanwhile, we're going to have our manager only manage for a year. I'd give Dylan Cease probably $25 million a year. And I still think that would be a little bit of a lot. What do you think, Frank? How much would you give Dylan Cease a year? I wouldn't give him 32.
Absolutely not. Between 20 and 25. That's what I'd give him.
Yeah, that's what he's probably worth.
And that's on the low end for a starting pitcher, which based off of these last couple of years, especially last year, how is he worth more than that? When you saw last year, his effectiveness was one time through the order. That's it.
You can give him a qualifying offer, right?
I would give him a qualifying offer just for the compensatory draft pick. Yes, 100%.
Because he's not going to take it.
No,
I got to see. Did they announce how much the qualifying offers are going to be this year?
I think it's 22-1. I think. I know it's 22 something. I think it's 22-1.
Last season it was 22.025. So I don't know if they've announced this year's yet qualifying offers. Oh, here you go. This year's top qualifying offer candidates. He should be one of those, I would imagine. Yeah, he is. He's one of those qualifying offer guys. I'd give him a qualifying offer. Robert Suarez also a qualifying offer guy. Luis Ariz is a qualifying offer guy. Michael King. Everybody but I think O'Hearn is a qualifying offer guy.
Yeah, no, it's 22.025. That's what it is.
That's what they're going with this year.
Yeah. Our favorite network posted that on October 14th of this year.
I'm giving him a qualifying offer.
22-1 effectively.
Qualifying offer and a thank you for your service.
Yep.
Moving on.
Right.
All right. Scratch him off the list. The next highest Padres free agent, that's a free agent this year, is Michael King, who's got a mutual option. Probably not going to take it. He's also 30 years old. He had a 1.2 B WAR in 2025. Think about that. He had a higher B WAR in 2025 than Dylan Cease. He played like half the games. Not even that. He played like a quarter of the games that Dylan Cease played. He's represented by Excel Sports Management. Not a Boris guy. Entered the 2025 season as the potential number one free agent starter in this class after going 13-9 with a 2.95 ERA. However, he was placed on the IL on May 25th with a pinched thoracic nerve. And when he returned on August 9th, he only threw 17 2/3 innings over the remainder of the regular season and only one inning in the postseason, striking out 3 of the 4 batters he faced. His medicals were determined the type of contract he gets this offseason, and it is difficult to predict his contract without seeing those records. With that caveat, and taking into account the potential injury risk, I'll predict Jim Bowden. He'll land a similar contract to what Nathan Eovaldi got for the Rangers and Sonny Gray got for the Cardinals, even though King's considerably younger than both. That said, if the medicals are completely clear, I can see him getting a 5-year deal in the 140 range. He has him at 3 years, 75. I'd give him that right now.
I think if Yu Darvish retires, I think it's a no-brainer because that frees up Yu's money. If that is a no-brainer if Yu Darvish retires. If he doesn't, I would still want him back, but I wouldn't be overly thrilled at that price. But if Yu Darvish retires, that's a no-brainer. He's a Padre next year.
If Michael King says yes to 3 years 75, you're writing that offer right now.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Even if, because Jim Bowden's worried about his medicals. We talked about the medicals with this guy, right? I mean, it was like a knee was the only... He slept on his arm wrong, and it knocked him out for a long period of time.
The only thing
It's kind of a fluke of an injury. It's not like he's an injury-prone pitcher.
Right, but it also doesn't look good that he had these injuries after he threw his first full season as a starter, and he wasn't great at the start of the year when he did. We're waiting for him to ramp up, remember, when he went down. So that might give you some pause as well, as he had a lot of injuries and missed pretty much his entire second season as a starter. And what he did prior to getting hurt, fluky or not, wasn't knock your socks off impressive.
Before he got hurt?
Yes.
He was doing all right.
I remember the conversations we were having about him. We were waiting on him and Cease to turn the corner.
We were waiting on Dylan Cease to turn the corner for sure. I got to go look at his game logs.
I mean, it wasn't awful. He wasn't bombing games, but he wasn't the 6-7 inning shutout guy that he was last year.
He was doing okay. I mean, he was giving up runs more. He wasn't pitching like shutouts. He did go 9 innings of shutout ball against the Rockies.
So he pitched a shutout against
in his games before he got hurt.
Denver
He pitched
League
10 games before he got hurt. He had a 2.59 ERA.
That's solid.
That's solid.
It's a little bit better than I thought.
He was 4-2 with a 2.59 ERA. Gave up 16 earned runs, had 64 strikeouts to 17 walks, 3.26 fielding independent pitching in those 10 games. Like I said, he wasn't like he wasn't ace stuff, I guess, but that's a really good start of your rotation.
Anthony, we agree with you, by the way. How does he not start game 3? That we've said that the next morning.
Unless they thought he was even more hurt than he actually was. But maybe the Padres can use that to their advantage, where teams are afraid, like you, on a sense of, well, maybe this is a problem after he threw the most amount of innings he's ever thrown. And so now we're not going to offer him, and maybe the price goes down to the Padres can get him for a deal. I mean, for a fact, if the Padres offer him 3 years, 75, AJ's throwing an opt-out in there once or twice.
Absolutely.
And I think that'd be worth it. I'd sign Michael King to that. You know what? In the other deal, the 5-year 140, I'd sign Michael King to that deal too.
This is going to be a very difficult offseason for free agency.
It is. There's not a lot of better options out there. We'll talk about some of them when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. All guests on 97 through the Fan join us via the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. And coming up at the noon hour, we're going to have David Velasquez on. San Diego State assistant men's basketball coach will join us, get us a preview of San Diego State basketball. They are back in action again tomorrow for their final exhibition game. They'll take on USD at Viejas Arena at 7 o'clock. I will be there on the call for USD basketball at usdtoreros.com. So it'll be a nice little in-town game between USD and San Diego State. We'll get a preview of that, but also a preview of the Aztecs basketball season, who are expected to have a really big year. A lot of great players on this Aztecs team. So we'll talk with David Velasquez in the noon hour. And, of course, all guests join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. All right. Let's break this. We're talking about the free agency period and everything like that. And we've gotten some initial now reports or suggestions or more predictions about what players are going to get contract-wise. And it's good to get this. Like, I love what Jim Bowden puts this out because it gives a kind of guideline of, give or take what it's going to cost to bring some of these players back. He talks to a lot of general managers in baseball, a lot of scouts in baseball. He is a former general manager himself. So take everything that he says for what it's worth. But the reality is he kind of knows figures of what players should be able to get. And as a former general manager, he's somebody that's going to be looking at a number and be like, you know what? This is kind of what I would offer at this point in time. So we talked about the two biggest free agents for the Padres in terms of the starting pitching, something that the Padres need in Dylan Cease and Michael King. The amount of money that Dylan Cease is expected to get, according to Jim Bowden, to me and Frank, thanks for the memories, $31 million a year, $32 million a year. Yeah, no thank you. Thanks, but no thanks. As for Michael King, a lot of it is based on how healthy he is. I view his injury as kind of a fluke of an injury that he got. And then you look at the two breakdowns of Jim Bowden that he had for Michael King. It's one is if the medicals are not great, a 3-year, $75 million contract. If the medicals are fine, a 5-year, $140. I would give him both of those contracts. I would put both of those contracts. I would give them both. I think that's affordable. Anything to me from Michael King under $30 million a year, I think is worth spending the money on. You're going to have some money freed up with Eric Hosmer. We'll see what happens with Yu Darvish. But this team needs starting pitching. They don't have a lot of it. It'd be good to bring back an anchor like Michael King. You re-sign Michael King, then all of a sudden you don't have to have that massive conversation about Adrian Morejon or Mason Miller or both potentially trying it out to be a starting pitcher in the future, which I still think is worth the shot in spring training. But that being said, if you make it easy, you can make it easier for yourself. And you could go out and get Michael King and bring him back and put him part of this team that's expected to be, a contender again in 2026. Now, I want to go through a couple more of these Padres before we transition into the strategy of this year's offseason because of what's looming at the end of next regular season. And there is strategy involved by both the players, their agents, and the general managers and the teams about some of these contracts because of the uncertainty, because of what potentially can come or what might not come in the next collective bargaining agreement. So we've gone on Jim Bowden's top 50 free agents in order. Dylan Cease was ranked 8th. Michael King was ranked 13th. And Robert Suarez was ranked 15th. Robert Suarez is 34 years old. Robert Suarez, a 2.3 WAR. Okay, solid. Represented by a Muse Sports Agency. Suarez and Edwin Diaz will be the most sought-after closers in this year's class. Suarez led the National League with 40 saves, posting a 2.97 ERA with 75 strikeouts over 69 and two-thirds innings. Logged a 2.17 ERA during the second half of the season with 32 strikeouts and only 4 walks in 29 innings. Padres are expected to move on from Suarez because they're unwilling to commit to a long-term contract and dollars he's expected to get in free agency. Mason Miller, who was acquired at the trade deadline, will take over as the Padres' full-time closer next year, according to Jim Bowden. And they feel strong. They feel their strong bullpen depth will be enough as if Suarez departs. He does list the Padres as a best team fit, but the salary comps: Josh Hader, 5 years, 95; Edwin Diaz, 3 years, 64; Tanner Scott, 4 years, 72. Tigers, Red Sox, Braves, Yankees, Dodgers, Mets, Padres, all best team fits. He's expected to get 4 years, $80 million. No, thank you, Frank.
Nope. Good luck in your future endeavors, bud.
Yeah, good luck in your future endeavors is right. I mean, they didn't do that for Josh Hader, who was a dominant closer. Why would they do it for Robert Suarez, who was kind of a shaky closer? I mean, I don't think Robert Suarez was one of the, even though statistically his numbers were good, did you feel 100% confident the game was won with Robert Suarez?
Kind of like 2024, early in the season, yes. As the season went on, got a little bit more funky.
Yeah. That's how it was the last 2 years. I mean, you were sweating Bobby bullets every single time. And as our friends at Divine Sports Gospel say here in the chat, yeah, he was like our 4th best reliever. He was. He wasn't better than Miller. He wasn't better than Adam when Adam got hurt.
Wasn't better than Morahone.
Wasn't even close to being better than Morahone. He was better than Estrada. That was about it. And he just throws hard. But it's straight. And he doesn't have anything really to work off of. I mean, he would throw his changeup a little bit, but it wasn't enough. 4 years, $80 million? You want to spend $20 million on that guy a year? No, thank you. Sorry. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We'll see you. You could get affordable relief arms. Wasting $80 million on a guy who's 34 years old and a closer to me seems ridiculous. Would you give Kenley Jensen that like a handful of years ago? Not really. Hope, like we said, hope it works out for you. Hopefully, go get your bag. Ain't going to be with us. We're moving on. Don't want to spend too much time on Suarez. He's one of like the 2 guys I 100% would not sign. Would even like consider a conversation. Moving down the list to the next Padre on said list, we get to Ryan O'Hearn. Ryan O'Hearn is ranked, 27th best free agent in baseball, according to Jim Bowden. Okay. 32 years old, lefty-lefty, 2.4 WAR, played for the Orioles and the Padres. Republic Sports with a K is his agency. Spent the first half of the season with Baltimore, hit 283, 13 home runs in 94 games before being sent to the Padres. The deadline with San Diego, he hit 276. His power dropped significantly. 463 slug in Baltimore, 387 in San Diego. O'Hearn has developed into an everyday player with the ability to hit around 280 with 15 to 17 homers. He is a below-average defender, both in the corner outfield spots and at first base. He has solid hands but lacks range. This is the first time as a free agent, but he's likely looking at a short-term deal. Short-term deal. Salary comps. Max Kepler, 1 year, $10 million. Mike Yastrzemski, 1 year, $9.25. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., 3 years, $24 million. Best team fits, Padres, Pirates, Twins, Rays. He expects him to get 2 years, $24 million. Would you give Ryan O'Hearn $12 million a year?
1,000,000%, yes.
I would too.
Guy was hitting, 294, 293 when he got traded here? I absolutely would give him that money.
I'd bring him back. I think he'd be a good first baseman. I think you need a power hitter on the team. I know his power numbers have gone down significantly in San Diego. But when comparing power numbers between playing in Baltimore every day and playing in San Diego, they're going to go down. He was a lot better of a defensive player than Jim Bowden makes it out to be. I'd give him 2 years, $12 million. I mean, at this point in time, that's kind of the going rate for certain players. Jake Cronenworth's getting $12 million.
And why did his production go down? Because he wasn't playing every day.
That's part of it, but you have to include the Baltimore factor is slightly different. That's a bandbox over
100%.
there.
I mean, that's for power numbers.
Because he didn't 100%. Hit well. He didn't hit well with the Royals before he became an Oriole.
That, of course.
So that is my slight concern. But for $12 million, I'd absolutely.
Yes, 1,000,000%.
You bring him back. He seems like he liked it here. I mean, he fits into the ball club. I liked him being on the team. He's a veteran guy now. 2 years, $12 million sounds good. To me, that makes sense. And you could take the $12 million that you're going to give Hosmer and just give it to Ryan O'Hearn. Let Suarez walk. Let some of these other guys walk. I mean, to me, he's the guy. Out of the 5 players, we talked about it. We talked about 4 we've talked about already. We're going to talk about one more. I'd bring back O'Hearn, and I'd bring back King. And then I'd go find some cheaper options for other things. Because now all of a sudden I have to spend I'm spending all my money on King. And Ryan O'Hearn is like a mid-tier guy. Ryan O'Hearn is the perfect example of these bats that you need to get. That why didn't you get this bat during the offseason? And instead, why are we taking these risks with guys like Jason Hayward? This is the type of player we're talking about. This is what Jock Peterson got 3 or 4 years ago, where you're like, why isn't this guy getting a contract? And instead, they're decided to go with Nelson Cruz for $1 million. I'd rather do this. We don't know the money again, but I'd go with O'Hearn for sure. And that leads us to one more player. And whatever this player gets, to me, is whether or not he fits back on the team. But right now, what Jim Bowden's got, I don't necessarily know if I'm bringing this guy back. We'll talk about him when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Stream your local NFL game live every Sunday, all season long, starting at just $30 for your first year. That's like $250 a month. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. All right, 5 free agents for the Padres this year: Cease, King, Suarez, O'Hearn, Arise. At least the 5 free agents that are ranked in the top 50 by Jim Bowden. We've talked about 4 of them. We've talked about Cease, we've talked about King, we've talked about Suarez, and we've talked about O'Hearn. At the prices that Jim Bowden projects that these players will get, Frank and I think, are in agreement. Thank you for the memory, Cease and Suarez. Hey, here's a contract offer for Michael King and for Ryan O'Hearn. Are we in agreement with that?
100%.
And I think those are relatively cheaper numbers that can coincide with what you're spending money on and what 2026 is going to look like, and how much money they're going to spend. And I'm sure we'll get some articles about that. We'll see that multiple times. We'll see Kevin Acee write a report about how much money they're not going to spend, and then Dennis Lin will write a report about how much money they will spend, and then they'll just go and do their own thing during the offseason, and we'll be locked in spring. But to me, like, some of these players in the contracts makes a lot of sense. Now, let's talk about the last one. 28-year-old Luis Arise. Bats left, throws right, 1.3 BWAR. MVP Sports Group is his agency. If you missed it, some of these projections. Suarez is projected, because somebody asked, 4 years, $80 million. $20 million a year for Robert Suarez. 3 years, $75 million on the low end for Michael King if his medicals are not great, according to Jim Bowden, which apparently is a concern for a lot of teams. It's still relatively affordable. 6 years, $187 for Dylan Cease. Ryan O'Hearn, 2 years, $24 million. Those are the projected numbers. $12 million a year for Ryan O'Hearn. I think that to me is the going rate for a player like him, who, by the way, was an all-star last year. Now, let's talk about Luis Arise. Arise has won batting titles as a member of the Twins, Marlins, and Padres, winning them in 3 consecutive years from 2022 to 2024. That streak ended this year when Trey Turner of the Phillies won the NL batting title, and Arise finished 4th. The 3-time All-Star and 2-time Silver Slugger Award winner continues to hit for average and create traffic, although he does it without much pop or production. He's never hit more than 10 homers, scored 90 runs, or driven in 70 in a season. Arise has a slow bat, but he squares the ball up at an elite level and doesn't swing and miss. At times, it's like he has a tennis racket. The way he places the ball over the field. At this stage of his career, he's mostly a first baseman, but is a below-average defender. Salary comps: Gleyber Torres, 1 year, $15 million. Jeff McNeil, 4 years, $50 million. Best team fits: Padres, A's, Pirates, Rockies, White Sox, Angels. Contract prediction: 2 years, $30 million. That's all from Jim Bowden's article. There's a lot of things to unpack here, okay? One of them, let's just start from the perspective of what Luis Arise is. Luis Arise is a contact hitter that doesn't hit the ball very hard, hits for a higher average in baseball, but what makes him valuable is him hitting at an elite average level of hitting like over 300, something he did not do this year. Like, he needs to be hitting like 320, 330 for Luis Arise to be worth anything for your team, in my opinion. I think Luis Arise is a valuable baseball player. I don't think he is as valuable as what he is expected to get in a contract. He's not worth $15 million a year. He's not. I'm sorry. He's not. Not when you're trying to save money. I would rather just not bring him back at all and use that money that you were going to waste on him to get more starting pitching or put somewhere else. I think he's a valuable player when used properly. I don't think the Padres used him properly last year, and I don't think he's worth $15 million a year. Let's talk about that's one. Number two, he's 28 years old, which is fine, but the reality is, and again, I kept bringing this up during the baseball season, between Xander Bogaerts and Luis Arise. Xander Bogaerts, when everybody wanted him cut at the beginning of the season, was putting up good metric numbers, and the stats weren't there yet. And then the stats eventually caught up to his metrics. His swing speed was good. His exit velocity was good. All of the aging metrics were good. With Luis Arraez, they weren't. His exit velo was not good. His swing speed is not good. I mean, a lot of the metrics for Luis Arraez are trending in a negative direction at age 28. It's going to plummet by the time he gets to age 33. If you want to bring him back on a 1-year deal, fine. Fine. But it better be under $15 million a year. And if that's not the case, you let him walk. To me, if he can only play first base and he's a below average defender, I would rather use the money to get a power hitting first baseman or a power hitting DH than a contact guy. That's what I would do with him. Yeah, batting him ninth would be not a bad idea. I'm not spending $15 million on a guy that's batting ninth. I'm just not going to do it. Not when there's other problems that the Padres have. Not when they are close to the top of their budget, as they've said that they are. It's not worth the $15 million. Here's the other thing. Let's just point this part out. Anybody pay attention to the teams I said are best fits? According to Jim Bowden. Anybody recognize those teams? Frank, let me ask you the question here.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see all the best team fits for Luis Arraez?
I wrote them.
You're looking at them right now because I'm looking at the article. You're looking at the sheet. Aside from the Padres, what do all those teams have in common?
They're not, how do you put this lightly?
I'll re-say the names just so everybody can get it. Padres, Athletics, Pirates, Rockies, White Sox, Angels. What do all of those teams, aside from the Padres, have in common?
They're not...
they suck.
Yeah, they're not good.
They suck. They're teams that suck and don't spend any money on anybody. Luis Arraez is perfect for those teams. Because if Luis Arraez signs with the Pirates could be like, look, we brought in this guy. We paid. It's an affordable upgrade. It's a name guy. He's won batting titles. Look at this new star we have. It's Luis Arraez. They'd love him in Colorado. They don't really care. They're drinking Coors Lights anyway, and they're just going to the game. They don't even know what's going on. They're watching the Triceratops walk around. They're not even watching the damn sport. Chicago White Sox would love Luis Arraez. Here he is. Here's our new star. He's won 3 batting titles. Yay.
Is the Triceratops walking around?
Yeah, in Colorado. You haven't seen the purple Triceratops walking around?
Squirrel.
Barney's cousin. His name's Dinger. But again, those are the teams that are best fit. To me, do you think the New York Yankees are spending anything close to $15+ million for Luis Arraez? Probably not.
No.
Think the Phillies are doing that? The Dodgers might, just because they like to stick it to the Padres sometimes. But I look at the team, even the teams in the division. Would you be worried about Luis Arraez being a Rocky if you're a Padres fan? Would you be worried about him being a Rocky? Would you worried about him being a Diamondback?
No.
No. Would you worry about him being a Dodger or a Giant?
No.
No. Probably not. I think Luis Arraez, great guy, happy guy, fun guy, like the energy. Beats up Macias' chest after a knock. It's fun stuff. It ain't worth $15 million a year for a team that's trying to win a World Series. It's just not. It is not. If you get him for less than $10 million a year, sure, sign him. Not for $15 million a year. No, sir. No way. Absolutely not. Not for the intangibles he brings. The intangibles that Luis Arraez brings, which is valuable if you're paying him under $10 million a year. If you get a player like Luis Arraez, high contact guy, hits for a high average, not a lot of pop, you can bat him at lower in the order, that's great. But he shouldn't be being paid near the middle or top of your lineup. That's not something you should be spending a lot of money on.
He unfortunately is the product of a bygone era. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for reminding us of the good times with Tony Gwynn. But
I mean,
he doesn't
to an extent, right? Tony Gwynn is so much better.
No, I'm just saying, like just that thought of a slap hitter, contact slap hitter back, not just in baseball, but back in San Diego. Thank you for the fond memories. Thank you for kind of bringing that nostalgia back. But that's really all he offers. He's not fast. Average defender. He shouldn't be playing first base. He's not the archetype first baseman. He'll run into a couple fastballs every now and again for home runs. But if he's not hitting, he doesn't hold much value. And in this game, in the game today, you need to have something else that draws people in. And that's, unfortunately, the era where he would be a megastar has come and gone.
You mentioned if he's not hitting to the level that he was hitting from 2022 to 2024 when he won those batting titles and he was an all-star,
he has nothing else to offer.
He has nothing to offer you.
Bless you. Again.
Yeah, when Luis Arraez was hitting 316, 354, and 314, 2025, 2026, 2022, 2023, and 2024, when he was 25, 26, and 27 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's valuable. 375 on base percentage, 393 on base percentage, 346 on base percentage. He's valuable. OPS 795, 861, 739. Valuable. All OPS pluses over 100. He's valuable. Last year, no. And if you watch, he hit his peak of 2023, and then it's starting to come back down. And I'm not going to sign him on the way down on a 2-year deal for $15 million a year.
And for a guy like Luis Arraez, when he started here, he had a 4-hit game, his first game here in Arizona. You start to think, how in the world has this guy bounced around through so many different teams? The more and more you watch him play, and the more and more you begin to realize that he is just a one-dimensional player, you start to understand, yeah, I kind of get why he's bounced around so many teams.
Yeah. Again, we're not saying he's a bad player. We're saying because Jacob's like, he's got 181 hits. What do you mean he's not hitting? Not him hitting at the level that he was, where he was getting 200 hits and hitting 354. That is valuable for a contact hitter. If the contact hitter is just hitting 292, which seems like a lot for a lot of teams, but it's all singles, he's not helping with driving and runs, his value is no longer there. It's not worth the $15 million a year anymore. Especially not for a guy that's going to hit you in a bunch of double plays and batting second. It makes no sense. Yeah, again, if he's hitting 333, like Civil in the chat understands. That is what makes Luis Arraez valuable, being a contact guy at an elite level, not a great level, an elite level. He needs to be like the best freaking hitter in all of baseball every single year if he's going to only just be the singles guy.
When your game is as one-dimensional as Luis Arraez is, you need to be so over the top, so over the top good. There was a word there I lost. You need to be so over the top good at that one thing to make everything else not matter. When you are just as good at doing that one thing as everybody else is, all the other faults kind of rear their ugly head.
Well, let's ask the question: O'Hearn for $12 million a year for 2 years, or Arraez for $15 million a year for 2 years? I agree.
Easily.
A first baseman should have at least a little bit of pop.
Yes,
it'd be nice to have Ryan O'Hearn as that, at least a little bit of pop. I would rather see O'Hearn on the team for $12 million than Arraez at 15. And to me, I think they're comparable players. They're both not great defenders, even though I think O'Hearn did a good job defending. They're not great defenders. And Arraez played pretty good at first base last year. He was solid. But they're both below average defenders in baseball. One has a little bit more pop, where the other one has a little bit more contact. They're relatively, what they bring in terms of overall production is near the same. I would just rather have the pop guy than the contact guy.
It's because first base is a power hitter's position. The archetypical first baseman is a power hitting lefty. That's what every team wants out of a first baseman. But if you're going to compromise on one of those things, you compromise on the lefty. If you have a power hitting right-hander that plays first base, you're taking him. But if you have a contact hitting lefty, which is why Jake Cronenworth playing first base made no sense. He doesn't have the power to play first base. He's a lefty. Great. That's one of the things you want. But he doesn't have the power to play that position. It is a power hitter's position, first base.
Especially for a team that lacks slug, that needs power numbers, they could get as much as they have. To me, that's where you need to go. And the other thing, too, like the moving around, like the defense, we all know that former shortstop Jake Cronenworth could play first base defensively. He's a shortstop. Of course he can. He's a better defender. But I don't want to see him playing first base. I view my lineup, and this is where I disagreed with Mike Schilt when he did it in a condescending way to the morning show about defense being important. They don't care about defense. No, I don't. Defense is not important. It's important in the sense that you can't be a circus out there, but I'd rather fill out my 9 best batters and then place them in the best spots that they can defensively to try to win, not play my best 9 defenders and then put them in an order that might make sense for them to hit. Not in this day and age of baseball. You're not going to win a lot of games doing that. There is a strategy to this offseason, and it's going to be interesting how creative certain general managers get. And I think this makes a huge advantage to the Padres and having A.J. Preller and the advantages he brings in terms of the intangibles of being creative when he signs deals because of the impending lockout. The strategy is going to be very interesting to watch between the players and the agents, players with their agents, and the front offices and general managers. And we're going to talk about that strategy when we come back and also get to the sports thread on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour of 97 through the fans brought to you by Toyota of Poway. Voted San Diego's #1 Toyota dealer by USA Today with APRs as low as 0% and tons of new Toyotas on the ground. No tricks, only treats during the Trucktober sales event happening now. Only at Toyota of Poway or online at toyotapoway.com in the heart of San Diego. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station. 97.3 The Fan. Talking about free agents we would re-sign, free agents that we would not, based on what a prediction would be in terms of cost via Jim Bowden. Now, this could be whatever it is. Take it for what it's worth. He could be on, he could be off. It's a good ballpark frame. And to me and Frank, based on these numbers that Jim Bowden put out, I would re-sign Ryan O'Hearn and I would re-sign Michael King. I would let Luis Ariz, Robert Suarez, Dylan Cease walk. Those are the 5 free agents that are on his top 50. But to me, that's how I would do it. And I just, based on the numbers I'm seeing from Luis Ariz, I can't look at it and be like, this is somebody that, I got this, you can go sit down. This is somebody that is going to drastically improve. It's just not. Because he's shown that he isn't improving. He's getting worse. He's getting worse. I mean, just look at his numbers. And he's already at 28. And if you look at his swing speed, and if you look at all of his aging metrics that all these MLB teams look at, it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better at all. And if it does get better, good for him. But a team that needs slug can't afford to be giving $15 million to a guy like Luis Ariz. He doesn't bring you the value. If Ryan O'Hearn is under $15 million, I'd take him. You need more of a power-hitting first baseman. And again, you want to start looking at some of the free agents out there in Major League Baseball. There's not a lot of options. According to Jim Bowden, here are the players that fit the Padres. Doesn't mean they'll sign them. And this is based on need and everything else. Ranger Suarez, Tetsuya Imaya, Cody Bellinger, at his age, for what that price is, no way. Zach Gallen, Murakami out of the Japan League, JT Realmuto, Chris Bassett, Hassan Kim, Drew Pomerantz. Jeez. No thank you to any of those. Some of them maybe, but at the price, I mean, we'll see. So you look at where everything is with some of the players, you got to bring back some of these guys. I just don't see, Frank, how a guy goes from hitting 316, 354, 314 down to 292 and having one of his worst statistical careers is going to drastically improve from that.
No.
Because he just happens to be 28 years old. He's going to be 29 next year.
I don't see it, and I also just don't see how he's going to be able to keep up that pace for long. And again, he's got to find something else. He's got to become either an exceptional defensive player, learn how to run faster. He doesn't really have anything else that's outstanding other than his hitting. And if he doesn't have that, he really doesn't have much.
And I think he killed you for most of the season batting second.
Yes, and that also didn't help, but that's not on him. You can't blame the player for the manager putting him in the wrong spot in the lineup.
People go like, well, he hit 292. Yeah, he did, but that's not what makes him valuable. What makes him valuable is him hitting over 300 and winning batting titles. That's what makes him valuable when his singles only hitter. When your OPS is 719, you shouldn't be commanding the amount of money that he's supposed to be commanding. Again, if you look at his OPS plus, which is the rate of it, he's a slightly below average player. An average player, OPS plus is 100. He's 99. Are you going to give an average player for that kind of money? No, the answer is no. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. There's interesting strategies that are going to be played here, though, in free agency.
He hit 292. He only had 61 RBIs.
He's never had 70 RBIs in a season.
No, he's at 69. That was the closest he got, and that was his
when
first year here.
That was,
and he hit 354 that year.
That was in 2023 with the Marlins. That's when he was 26 and had a 4.6 WAR and was one of the better players in baseball.
It was the year before he was here. Sorry.
Correct.
61 RBIs. When you have a guy who's hitting 292, getting 61 RBIs, he is not producing for you. He's producing for himself. As far as hits are concerned, that's what he's doing. He's producing for himself. He's not producing for the team. You need a guy, if he's going to have that kind of average, he's got to drive runs in. And he's not doing that. And part of that is because he was hitting in the 2 spot all season long. Because the bottom of the order, we talked about it all year, bottom of the order could not get on base. And they could not drive in the runners that were on from the top and the middle of the order. Move him to the bottom of the order, like we were saying all season long. He gets more than 70 RBIs. Probably gets more than 80 RBIs.
He should have been batting.
Should have been batting seventh.
4th through 7th. All season long. But again, I'd rather have a power hitting first baseman at DH. And again, I hate him as the leadoff guy because he's not going to walk ever. He's just basically his entire on base is just hitting singles. So I'm not a huge fan of him being on this team. I don't think he brings the intangibles that you need. You got to look at OPS. You got to look at slug. You got to look at, some power numbers for a team that was lacking that all year. And the teams that are playing in the World Series right now have those numbers. The Padres do not. So why would you bring back another player that doesn't do those things and continue to do the same thing over and over again and hope that it's going to be a little bit different? Let him go play in Colorado. Let's get to the sports thread, and then we'll talk more about some of this free agency in the noon hour. David Velasquez is going to join us to start the noon hour when we come back. But first, what's going on around sports not involving the Padres or the World Series? Here's Frank.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
All right, Frank, what do we got in the sports world today on today's Sports Thread?
We've got a decent amount, actually, going on in the sports world.
Number 1.
The University of Michigan and Wolverines head football coach Sharon Moore will withdraw their appeal in the NCAA infractions case that's centered on advanced scouting. According to the NCAA's Division I Infractions Board, Moore withdrew his appeal in the case back on September 29th, so almost a month ago, and the university followed at the beginning of the month on the 6th. The NCAA Committee of Infractions announced in August that Michigan had committed multiple Level 1 infractions in relation to impermissible off-campus scouting. The scheme led by former staffer Connor Stallions was designed to aid in the stealing of opponents' in-game signals. It operated during 2021-2022 and for part of 2023. So appeals have been dropped. Michigan now is finally going to accept this penalty that is coming to them.
It was only a matter of time, right? Only a matter of time. So, Michigan story continues with some of the cheat. I don't know if people think Harbaugh is a great dude. Yeah. Just soon as it hits the fan with him, bails. Same with Pete Carroll, same thing. Yeah, oh wait, all this stuff starts circling. I'm going to go to the NFL now. We're a big action over words show. And the actions are saying one thing and the words saying different.
Yep, absolutely.
Number 2.
This story has cropped back up with new details. The Tyler Skaggs death from a couple of years ago. The ex-wife of former Los Angeles Angels communication employee Eric Kay testified on Monday that the organization was aware of his drug abuse multiple times before Kay supplied the drugs that killed Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs in 2019. Camilla Kay testified in the wrongful death civil trial that she witnessed team employees and players distributing non-prescription drugs to each other, including once on a team plane where she described opioid pills being handed out. Her testimony was repeatedly interrupted with objections by the team's attorney. It's such a sad story and it's such a pointless way to go. But now it's painting the picture of a very, very toxic clubhouse in Anaheim as compared to everything else.
Yeah, a terrible story that keeps coming back to light on everything that happened in this particular situation that was all bad. So, this just keeps getting worse and worse the more we find out about that situation.
Yeah, and I'd be interested to know what other players were a part of that, because unfortunately, Albert Pujols was a part of those teams. And we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Carlos Beltran had to give up his managerial job after he was linked to the Astros cheating scandal. Is there anything that might disqualify Albert Pujols later from this? So it's a sad story that keeps just getting worse.
Number 3.
Georgia coach Kirby Smart, when asked about LSU's Brian Kelly firing, becoming the latest in the long history coach being fired, didn't mince words. Smart said, quote, "It's the world we live in. At this time in the middle of the season, I think there's so much built around the playoffs. It's like everything is boom or bust, and you can't just have a normal season," unquote. Smart, who is the second longest tenured coach in the SEC, will lead the number 5 Bulldogs into Saturday's rivalry game against Florida, which fired Billy Napier after a disappointing start to the season. Smart continued by saying, "I know, quote, I know it's high expectations. I coached at LSU, and a guy once told me, that office you're in, that's not your office. You're borrowing it. And I knew it right then. If you didn't win, you wouldn't be there long term." Kirby Smart, those are some pretty tough words from Kirby Smart about not just the LSU coaching job, but coaching in college football nowadays just in general.
I just think people have unrealistic. I think a lot of these boosters in college athletics, especially in the SEC, have unrealistic expectations of what their team could possibly do. We briefly talked about it yesterday. But like, if you think about, let's think about the teams that have all claimed. Let's go look at the standings, right? Go look at the SEC standings. Go look at the college football, the SEC football standings right now on ESPN.com or whatever it may be, and start telling me all the schools that say, we're winners here. You have to win. Texas A&M, is that a have-to-win school? Yeah. Alabama, is that a have-to-win school? Yeah. Georgia, have-to-win school. Texas, have-to-win school. Oklahoma, have-to-win school. LSU, have-to-win school. Florida, have-to-win school. They can't all win. They're going to be constantly going through coaches every 2 to 3 years on this cycle, and it's just going to cost all these people a ton of money. It might be funny to watch. New lunchtime hour. David Velasquez joins us next.
Derek. Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime years.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour on 97.3 The Fan. This hour is brought to you by Toyota of Poway, but it's San Diego's #1 Toyota dealer by USA Today with APRs as low as 0%. Tons of new Toyotas on the ground. No tricks, only treats during the Trucktober sales event. Happening now only at Toyota of Poway or online at toyotapoway.com in the heart of San Diego. Aztecs basketball, we haven't had the opportunity to talk too much about yet. They had an exhibition game against UCLA. They lost by 7 in that particular contest. Again, exhibition game, getting work in. Jumped out to a rough start and then roared all the way back in that particular contest. They will be taking on San Diego tomorrow. USD versus San Diego State tomorrow at Viejas Arena at 7 o'clock. And another exhibition game. And then a week from today, on November 4th, it is time for Aztec Hoops. As San Diego State will take on Long Beach State at Viejas Arena to get the 2025-2026 basketball season underway. Aztecs basketball is loaded with talent. Absolutely loaded with talent. We've talked about this before. A lot of returning players. Guys like Magoon Guath coming back, who's still, battling some injuries and it hasn't been officially cleared yet. Guys like Farrell Compton is back. Miles Bird. Reese Dixon Waters, who missed all of last season with an injury, is back. The team got reloaded in the transfer portal, did a great job in recruiting the freshmen, and are going to have a great season. The fact that they're not ranked to start the season is a joke. Total joke. But you look at their schedule to start the year, and again, they got a couple of games early that are against opponents they should be able to handle. Long Beach State, Idaho State, and Troy. And then they get to the Players Era Festival where they take on Michigan and Oregon and another potential Power 4 team. And then later on, again, they're mixing in Utah Valley, Lamar. They get some conference play in there with Air Force, and then they got to go to Arizona to take on the Wildcats. They get to play them in Phoenix. It's basically a home game for Arizona anyway. But it should be a fun year with Aztec basketball. And we'll talk more about Aztec basketball as the next couple of weeks continue to come about and we start Aztec hoop season. But right now for San Diego State, things are going well for the Aztecs in all of their athletics. Football team off to a great start to the season, trying to finish up strong and potentially play for a Mountain West championship game. They're right there knocking on the door of a college football playoff spot. We got the news yesterday, and here's the deal. Stephen Strasburg's got to be joining Gwen and Chris later on today. I think at 2:40, if I'm not mistaken. But he returns to the Mesa. He's going to be back part of the baseball staff. San Diego State legend Stephen Strasburg officially returning to Aztecs baseball in a meaningful way. Former MLB star and 2019 World Series MVP has accepted a position as special assistant to new head coach Kevin Vance, furthering his deep connection to the university where his baseball journey first took off. It's going to be great to see him on the Mesa for Aztec baseball. And we're working on right now trying to get a hold of David Velasquez, assistant coach that was going to join us today, talking Aztec basketball. But overall, I look at the way that this Aztec season might come about, and I'm excited for Aztec basketball. I mean, they took home almost every award during the preseason when they did the media days, the Mountain West Conference media days. This might be one of the most anticipated Aztec basketball seasons this season in the last handful of years, aside from probably the year that Kawhi was playing. But you look at some of the preseason awards that the Aztecs got for the Mountain West. San Diego State, third program in Mountain West history to be the unanimous preseason selection to win the league. And Miles Bird, Reese Dixon Waters, Magoon Gwath, and LZ Harrington received individual preseason honors. In its final year competing in the Mountain West Conference, San Diego State men's basketball team predicted to be crowned the 2025-2026 league champion in the annual preseason poll, which was announced last Thursday ahead of the start of the league's media day, where they're at Resorts World, Las Vegas. Miles Bird, freshman LZ Harrington, both guards have been tabbed as preseason player of the year and preseason freshman of the year, respectively. Senior guard Reese Dixon Waters and sophomore forward Magoon Gwath, along with Miles Bird, earned inclusion on the 10-player preseason All-Mountain West team. Scarlet and Black, 312 points and all 26 first-place votes from media members who regularly cover the conference to finish in front of Utah State and its 275 points. Boise State was predicted to finish in third place in this year's poll. Broncos picked up 260 points to finish ahead of fourth place Grand Canyon, who's now in the league for the first time. Aztecs will join Utah, and Utah State is the only program to be unanimously selected to win the conference in its preseason poll. Utah picked up all 28 first-place votes in the league's initial season in 1999 to 2000, while Utah State garnered each of the 17 available votes in the 2019-2020 season. San Diego State predicted to win the league for the 11th time overall, including the 4th time in the last 6 seasons. And 9 of the 10 previous times the Aztecs were projected to win the league, the team advanced to the postseason, 7 NCAA tournaments, 2 NIT appearances. Aztecs have been predicted to finish either first or second in the Mountain West preseason poll in 10 of the last 11 years. It also is the 16th time in the 27 seasons the Mountain West has been in existence that San Diego State has been picked first or second in the preseason poll. Additionally, those 16 times have occurred in the last 21 years. Aztecs basketball back in full force. Another exhibition game tomorrow, as mentioned before, as they will take on the University of San Diego. And then next week, we are doing it for real as we have a highly anticipated Aztecs basketball season. And joining us now on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline, David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crimes since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Joining us is the assistant basketball coach and a longtime assistant here at San Diego State, David Velasquez. David, what's going on? How's your Tuesday going?
Doing great. We're excited to get out there and learn from the mistakes we made against UCLA and build on some of the stuff we did really well and get to play University of San Diego tomorrow night in Viejas Arena.
It's a very anticipated season. Obviously, you guys have won a lot of preseason awards, picked to win the conference. Obviously, a lot of expectations with the team. With that comes a target on your back. I mean, how's this preparation been for the season, and how excited are you guys to not only get after it again tomorrow, but start the season next Tuesday?
Yeah, we are excited. You know, we've worked really hard this entire off season, preparing for this season. You know, we know that, at San Diego State, whether it's this year, last year, or any year, you're always going to have a bullseye on your back. And, you know, the way we prepare every single day in the summer, every day when the off season, that's what creates success. And we've been fortunate to have a lot, and we want to have the continued success, and we want to win more than we had last year. You know, our goal every year is to win the Mountain West. So if we don't feel that confetti falling us in Viejas in March, then we don't, in our opinion, we didn't have a great season. But our expectations behind closed doors are never going to be any higher than if anybody else gave us them.
This season, they finally allowed in college basketball for some of these exhibition games to have people in attendance. You guys got to experience that against UCLA a couple of Fridays ago. You'll get to do that again tomorrow against the University of San Diego. I mean, in your 24 seasons at San Diego State, how cool is it that people actually get to come and watch some of these exhibitions instead of the closed door secret scrimmages?
Well, it's a little bit of both. It's a gift and a curse for a coach. To be honest
Right.
with you, it's obviously still early. You can see there's a lot of kinks we need to get fixed. Against UCLA, but it's good. I think it's good for our fans, but also our players, because people don't realize when you're actually playing in a crowd that we have, and we're very lucky to have the great crowds we have. It takes people time to get used to that crowd. And even though it's your home crowd, there's still a level of that you kind of rush yourself a little bit. It's hard to kind of calm yourself down. Now we have the chance. Now we had a great crowd against UCLA. I know we'll have another good crowd tomorrow night. And it's just it really does set you up for an early, a part of your season that you're not used to having. Because if you play in front of no fans, and then the first time you run out there's 12,000 people, it's a little different. But it's been good.
We're talking with assistant basketball coach of San Diego State, David Velasquez, as we get ready for Aztec basketball next Tuesday. Another exhibition game tomorrow against the University of San Diego at 7 o'clock at Viejas Arena. Dave, let's talk about this roster. It's a loaded roster. Obviously, you got some continuity coming back with Magoon Guath, obviously, as well as Miles Bird, two players that I think a lot of fans thought might leave in the transfer portal. Let's talk about that for a second. I mean, what does it say about your guys' program that you've been a part of now for 24 seasons? That in this day of college athletics, you got kids that enter the portal but want to come back to what a great program this is at San Diego State.
Yeah, I think it speaks to the tradition that we have, the culture we have, and we've been fortunate to be here this long. I think. Our guys, when they get to be a part of this, I think the one thing it shows is that they love being here. That's the number one thing. And they take pride in being at San Diego State and being an Aztec. And I think we've done a really good job of holding them accountable, but at the same time, trying to help them grow as young men on and off the floor. And, it speaks volumes about our program that, we were able to have so much retainment, especially with those two, obviously, that, kind of the two guys that circled, underlined, and I'm sure every college basketball team in the country was watching them last year saying, oh, I can't wait to get that kid on our team. But we were very fortunate to keep them, and we have high expectations for them individually and for our team this season.
There are obviously two big returners coming back. Last year, you didn't get to play with Reese Dixon-Waters, obviously suffered the injury early in the season. He comes back in this season. I mean, how much of a big add is bringing back Reese Dixon-Waters to this basketball team?
Reese is a guy who's been through a lot, from injuries, from, sixth man of the year when he was playing at USC, to having a really good start his first year with us. And unfortunately, he was hurt last year, but he's going to be a guy we can really lean on in those crucial moments, those tough times, and, kind of just be the kind of just the steady force for our team, especially offensively. The way he can score the ball is something that we really missed last year. A guy that could find a way to get a basket that didn't necessarily have to come out of the offense. He can create his own offense, and we even got to see it the other night. Our offense was struggling, and then Reese started getting going, and then before you know it, we shot 58% in the second half, and a lot of that had to do with Reese and how he plays, and we're excited to have him back this year.
I got some freshmen, too. You got a handful of freshmen that have been added to this roster to make it a full, complete roster. One of them in particular, LZ Harrington, getting some preseason accolades. For a lot of Aztec fans that haven't been able to see him play yet, what's he like as a player? What should Aztec fans expect to see when they get to see him at Viejas Arena?
Yeah, we're excited. We're lucky to have LZ. He's one of the hardest workers on our team already. He just has a feel for the game of basketball that's hard to teach. He does a lot of things that you go and recruit, and because you can't really teach it. And his impact on the game will be on both ends of the floor. He can play off a ball screen. He can score. He has great size about him. He's got a great motor. So defensively, he'll help us on that end as well. And so we're excited about LZ. LZ's going to be a big time player for us.
Let's talk about the schedule a little bit. I mean, obviously you're playing the, Toreros tomorrow in an exhibition game. A handful of opponents at Viejas Arena that are good, testers, but then got the Player Ears Festival to get things going. I mean, how important is it for you guys to, have that Players Ear Festival, but also, schedule an opponent like Arizona, get some of those Power 4 opponents on this schedule to really test you guys out early in the season?
Yeah, that to me has been a staple of Coach Dutcher as a head coach is, his ability to schedule and create a hard non-conference schedule that hopefully sets you up for success down the road in March. And, our conference is hard enough, but if we can give ourselves a few non-conference opportunities for those big, staple wins. Last year we had the big win against Creighton and Houston in Vegas that you look up at the end of the year and, everybody wants to play in March Madness. And that what kind of was our ticket in, to be honest with you, into the tournament last year. So, yeah, we're excited about our non-conference schedule. It's always going to be challenging. And like I had mentioned earlier, we got this big bullseye on our back. And that's something we take a lot of pride in, is that people, when they see San Diego State on their schedule, it's a notoriety game. It's something that guys want to say they beat San Diego State. And so we're ready for that challenge.
Last thing I kind of want to ask you, David, about this is, now you got 3 Division I programs in the city of San Diego, in the county of San Diego. It's a pretty unique experience here in town. And, you guys have obviously led the way. USD trying to battle their way back in as a program. UCSD made the tournament for the first time. How cool is it to have 3 Division I programs all competing in college basketball in different conferences here, right here in the backyard? And does it make it easier for, maybe non-conference scheduling in the future?
It might, but to me, it's one of those things. We just got to handle our own business. Congratulations UCSD on their season last year. And I know Coach Lavin's working really hard over there at USD. And to me, this is the greatest city in the world. And so it's very lucky to be here, work here, and have 3, competitive college basketball teams in this town. But we also know how we kind of carry our flag around this, and we are the program that everyone's aspiring to be.
David, I appreciate the time. Good luck tomorrow. Obviously, an exhibition, work some things out, and we're all excited to watch you guys tip off for real next Tuesday.
Appreciate that, and go Aztecs.
David Velasquez, assistant basketball coach of San Diego State, here joining us on the Braden Surprenant show. And as mentioned by Go Aztecs in the chat, love his energy on the sidelines. I mean, he has done a tremendous job as assistant head coach. And this is, this program and what it was built with Steve Fisher and Brian Dutcher and David Velasquez being a part of it for 24 seasons, and the passing of the torch that has been going on and the continuity around the coaching staff is a big reason why this team has had success year in and year out. And they should have another great season in 2025-2026. Again, they will play tomorrow against USD at Viejas Arena. That will be a 7:00 start. Free San Diego State Fight Song t-shirts for the first 1,000 Aztec students to tomorrow's exhibition game against USD. USDToreros.com will have the broadcast. I will be on said broadcast with Jack Cronin tomorrow. So if you want to listen to Aztecs basketball, you can listen to it at USDToreros.com. I think we're the only ones broadcasting the exhibition game tomorrow. So be sure to tune in to that. Big thanks to David Velasquez for joining us. When we come back, a new face on the Mesa, friendly face on the Mesa, familiar face back on the Mesa in baseball. We'll talk about that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. It's hour 97 through the fans, brought to you by our local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires. Let's talk about the new face, familiar face on the campus of San Diego State. He actually will be joining Bennett Woods. He'll be joining Gwen and Chris today. I got to go back to see exactly what time. 2:40. The new familiar face back on campus at the Mesa. Aztecs legend Stephen Strasburg officially returning to Aztecs baseball in a meaningful way. Former MLB star and 2019 World Series MVP has accepted a position as a special assistant to new head coach Kevin Vance, furthering his deep connection to the university where his baseball journey first took off. Quote from Strasburg, "This place is near and dear to my heart. My parents are alumni. I'm an alumni. It feels like I was pitching out there at Tony Gwynn Stadium just yesterday." In his new role as a special assistant, Strasburg will contribute across several fronts, mentoring and developing pitchers, advising players on growth and preparation, assisting with fundraising and alumni relations, supporting special events and community outreach. Head coach Kevin Vance emphasized the impact of Strasburg's presence and what it will bring to the program, calling him, quote, arguably the best pitcher in college baseball history, but highlighting that his true value lies in his passion for the Aztecs, San Diego State, and commitment to Tony Gwynn's legacy. Quote from Vance, "Stephen didn't arrive on the Mesa as the individual we know today. He earned it through hard work Competing in a great culture and program built by Tony Gwynn. He wants to help give our players the same opportunity and environment to grow. I love this move. I think it would have been a long time coming. I heard last year that Strasburg wanted to get involved with last coaching regime for the Aztecs baseball program, and that was kind of a pain. Strasburg was coaching at Santa Fe Christian last year as an advisory role, and now he gets to return to his alma mater, a place that really molded him into the pitcher that he is today. And he says that before. A kid from West Hills, went to West Hills High School, and you could read the story of, what he was at West Hills High School and what he turned into under the tutelage of Tony Gwynn in college that led him to be one of the best college baseball pitchers ever, which led him to be one of the best baseball pitchers during his time in the pros. And what was a winning of a World Series with the Nationals. And now back home helping San Diego State baseball, a program that could really use a lot of help. And I think a program that is stepping in the right direction. I mean, I've talked about this as somebody that gets to broadcast games for USD Baseball, which is run by another Aztec alumni in Brock Ungrich, who also played under Tony Gwynn. We went a couple of times to San Diego State and saw what the baseball program had turned into. I mean, and again, it's like you see it from afar, but the facilities at Tony Gwynn Stadium they've been run down. I'm glad that they finally made some upgrades to the stadium. They got a new video board not too long ago. They improved the fence, thank God. And I don't know if they finally cleaned out Tony Gwynn's video equipment, but I remember the first time I was there to broadcast the game, all of his video equipment was in the press box that they haven't used in a long time, just collecting that. It looked like Jurassic Park. It looked like the remnants of Jurassic Park in Jurassic Park 2. That's what it looked like in there. I love the hire of Vance. Kevin Vance, who I'm pretty sure is also a local product. Yeah, he was. Two-way prep star at Torrey Pines High School. Back home in his hometown. Great that the Aztecs hired him to run this program. And now that they got Stephen Strasburg back, it's a step in the right direction for Aztecs baseball that has been relatively non-existent in the last handful of years. USD baseball has been really good. UCSD baseball, becoming D1, has gotten off to a good start. In fact, they've already won the Big West at least once. And San Diego State, for a city that is really good at baseball and has a lot of good baseball players, taking a really good step in the right direction. I love what San Diego State baseball did in the transfer portal. I like what they did in recruiting. I love the Kevin Vance hire. And now adding Stephen Strasburg to the staff, it's gonna hopefully put the program back in the right direction for San Diego State. And two Aztec baseball alumni who are employed by the station that will do the show after us will have Stephen Strasburg on at 2:40. Tony Gwynn Jr. and Chris Ello, two Aztec baseball alumni, excited to bring Stephen Strasburg on the show today at 2:40. I can't wait to hear that interview later on this afternoon. It's going to be good. But I think this is a really good step in the right direction. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Derek in La Mesa, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Derek?
What's going on, guys? A quick Aztec baseball take, and then just a quick college football take. I don't want to rain on Vance, man. I don't know the guy, but Braden, for years I've been banging the drum for Rusty Filter, and little known fact, as Strasburg climbed into the position where he was drafted number 1 overall, it was Rusty Filter as a pitching coach at San Diego State who developed that guy. He took the kid from West Hills that, I'm not going to lie, he wasn't very good. I mean, he was okay. He threw really hard and had terrible control and was lazy. Rusty Filter developed that guy, and they spoke regularly throughout Strasburg's career. So that's why I'm always banging the Rusty Filter drum. I think it's great that Strassi's back in the program. The same thing would have happened with Filter. I wish Vance, the best, but, Rusty being a personal friend of mine, I mean, this is his dream job. And he's up there at Santa Clara doing a great job, competing to get Stanford. I mean, he'll leave it if it's right. And San Diego State just hasn't made it right for him yet. So I hope that happens in the future. But best of luck to Vance. If you're listening, brother, get it. Use Strassi. That's great. Aztec baseball. They need to get to a College World Series for cry bones. What are we doing at San Diego State where we can't?
We need somebody, Derek, out of any of the schools here in town to get out of a regional. I mean, just a super regional would be nice at this point.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Hey, and a real quick, as the resident Oregon Duck fan, brother, that game against Wisconsin on Saturday, bro, that scared me a little bit. Ooh, that was not good. Wisconsin's a bad football team, a really bad football team. And Oregon, I say, even though their defense was dominant, they escaped with a 14-point victory against Wisconsin. We're a little chink in the armor there, brother.
A little worried about Iowa this week?
Nah, Iowa can't score, and Oregon's defense is really good. But, the game is at Iowa, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, tough place to play. And I love their tradition where they have the children's hospital. Like, that's amazing. It's very emotional. I had a kid in the NICU 22 years ago, and that was scary. So that's really awesome. Yeah, not worried about Iowa. I mean, hopefully Iowa can score,
They do a better job, Derek, of scoring on defense they do on offense. So, hopefully Oregon's offense doesn't turn the ball over. They might have to make some tackles.
Yeah, 100%. I'll tell you what, Dante Moore against Indiana threw a couple of balls directly into people's face masks. Got picked off. Hopefully they clean that up. Hey, you guys have a good one. I'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, Derek. College football stuff. I wanted to get more into that coaching. I mean, the coaching stuff with college football is crazy to me. By the way, did you see Greg Sankey, Frank, the SEC commissioner?
I have that on. I already have that for the sports thread tomorrow.
Telling the NCAA, hey, man, we should probably not do this.
Yeah, we're probably.
What are we doing?
We should probably back off on this a little bit.
Should probably not do this. I want to go back to that real quick on all of these SEC schools that just think that they all can win at the same time. It's so funny to me. A&M's one of those schools. Alabama's one of those schools. Georgia's one of those schools. I don't think Ole Miss is one of those schools. They've been good recently with Lane. Texas is one of those schools. Tennessee thinks they're one of those schools. Oklahoma, Florida, LSU. I mean, the only one, it's funny to me, it's like, all these SEC schools are going through coaches like nobody's business. Kentucky's in last place. They're 0-5 and 2-5, and Mark Stoops has had a job for an eternity. That's a basketball program in the SEC. I mean, anything that they get out of football is just like house money. I don't think this whole college football coaching carousel is sustainable, Frank. I don't know what people think they're going to get with their unrealistic expectations.
Have you seen the report of how much money is owed to fired college football coaches this year?
Yeah, isn't it like almost like
$167 million
for them to just not do anything anymore?
That is
just to go away.
Guaranteed money that is owed to college football coaches that were fired.
I'm not a big Brian Kelly fan. I think he's fake. We've talked about this. But the whole concept of a bunch of boosters in a suite raising money as the game is going on against Texas A&M to get rid of the coach is the most wild thing I've ever heard. Most wild thing I've ever heard. This entire college football coaching carousel we're about to go through during the offseason is going to be crazy. I mean, think about this for a second. Like all the jobs that are open in college football right now. All of the jobs. And those jobs are going to get filled by other coaches, and then they're going to create more. I mean, this is going to be a mass shift. And if you're Sean Lewis, right, he has to take he has to take any of those jobs that come calling. Just on the sense that if he doesn't win in 2 years, he's almost going to get $50 million to go away. It's almost foolish not to. I mean, Wisconsin. Do you think Wisconsin's going to keep their head coach? They're another year of being awful. Who's their head coach? Fickle? Is that his name? The old Cincinnati guy?
Oh, I have no idea.
The Wisconsin head coach.
I have no idea.
I want to say it's Luke Fickle, if I'm not mistaken. I have to go look again on the deal. But I mean, he took that job at Wisconsin. They've been awful since they took over the job. Since he took the job, he's got to get paid because they're going to get rid of him. They're in last place. I mean, Wisconsin football is terrible. The unrealistic. Yeah, it's Luke Fickle. The unrealistic expectations that some of these schools have. And here's the other thing, too, which I love. I kind of love this. These big conferences loaded up their conferences with more teams that are really good that all think they're like the best ever. And it's guaranteeing them that they're not all going to finish with these phenomenal records and they're just imploding on itself, all for money. It's kind of hilarious. That's why they want to consistently change the college football playoff to make all the gambling that they've done in terms of loading up their conference for a big TV contract to work out for them. This is going to be a crazy coaching carousel. Hilarious. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, we got to get to our midday sports standoff. 1 o'clock hour, we'll dive in some NFL. We'll go back to some baseball talk as well. If you want to join and try to take me down in some sports trivia, here's your opportunity. If you give us a call right now, and you take me down in some sports trivia, you would be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize, a trip for two to see Jerry Seinfeld in Las Vegas, including 2 tickets to the show on April 17th at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace, a 2-night stay at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino, and a $100 gas card. Jerry Seinfeld returns to the Coliseum at Caesars Palace on April 17th and 18th. See Ticketmaster.com for tickets. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Give us a call. We will take on the midday sports standoff when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. 12:43 on it. What day is it? Tuesday?
Is it Tuesday? Yes.
What day is it today? Is it Tuesday today? Yeah, all day.
At least that's the rumor I heard.
You know what's jacking me up this week? We play Thursday. Short week.
That's right.
Play Thursday. Some of us jumped on it early and understood that Friday was Halloween and decided to move the game to Thursday.
So yeah, the little jerks got to get their candy.
Oh, is that what it is? Or the fact that you know that like your gates on Friday are going to suck?
No, it's the jerks need the candy.
I can't imagine high school football gates on Friday being good.
No, they're going to be horrific.
Right? I mean, and this is the last week where you get to keep most of the gate. After this, it's playoffs, and the CIF gets to keep most of the gate. There have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 6. There's 16 games on Thursday. 32 schools jumped the gun. Are like, we're going to play Thursday this week. Everybody else is still playing on Friday. Julian, though, smart. Game's at 3:30. Now it's 8-man football. They don't have lights. But you know what? Smart. They're playing at 3:30.
Olympian, not smart. They're playing Hilltop on Friday.
It's at Hilltop, though.
At Hilltop.
I don't know if that's a home team decision or not. Probably is. You going to go? Let me know how it goes. Not my week to watch them.
8-1, baby.
They've had a great year.
They've been incredible.
The Olympian Eagles have had a great year. The Discovery Bowl's on Friday. That's a 7:15 start at San Marcos High School. Rivalry game. Go trick-or-treating with your kids, then go to the game. I will say this, like, what time does trick-or-treating like usually end? Like, it starts at sunset, which is around 6.
If I know.
You're pretty much shutting things down around 8:30, 9 o'clock, right? That's a good question to ask people. What time are you shutting down? What time are you, like, turning the lights off or, like, we're done for the night, giving out candy? 8:30? I mean, people that, like, kids that go trick-or-treating are before high school age. Those kids, are not, but it is a Friday night. They might be out late trying to find the king-size candy bars.
When do you turn the lights off for trick-or-treaters? When I'm running low on the candy I like.
That's why you keep that part, and you're the bleep that hands out Almond Joys.
No, allergic to Almond Joys. I'm not going to give out something that's going to kill me.
Wouldn't you want to get rid of the things that would kill you?
Why would I buy it?
Why would you keep? Well, it comes in the variety pack, dude.
Why would I buy a variety? You can see what's in the variety pack. I'm not going to buy a variety pack with Almond Joys and Mounds and stuff like that.
Let's see what's in the variety. There's usually good candy mixed with bad candy because they got to get rid of the bad candy.
What
somehow
insane psychopath would put a variety bag with Mounds and Almond Joys in with like Hershey's?
Well, it depends on the product.
You're not good. No one's buying that.
People do, man. You got the Kirkland favorites that come with some of those, I think. Yeah, here's a pack. Yeah, it's the Hershey's assorted candy. Kit Kats, Hershey's, Reese's, and Almond Joys. You're not buying that pack?
I'm dead on I'm dead on half of it.
That's
so
like
no.
most of those. That's the Hershey's pack. It comes with Almond Joys.
Probably 3/4 of it, depending upon what Hershey's are in there.
They're just regular Hershey's candy.
Well, if that's the case, I'm dead on half of it.
You might as well hand out the candy that you can't eat. What other packs are there? If you give out circus peanuts, your house deserves to be TP'd. Just straight up. Straight up. Absolutely.
Oh, boy.
All right. Anyway, so that's there's a ton of games on Friday night. A lot of teams got wind. I mean, the Thursday game is the play, especially with the referee shortages and stuff like that. Then you got to play some Thursday games once in a while. We'll volunteer to do the Thursday before Halloween. What is the worst candy you ever got trick-or-treating?
Adam Paul, why peanuts are so good is because I'm allergic
he's
to
allergic
peanuts.
to them.
I'm allergic to peanuts and almonds and stuff like that.
We got good games on Thursday.
That's cool.
We got Rancho Mirada at Poway, rivalry game. Granite at Steele, good one. La Jolla at Madison, not a bad game. Torrey LCC, they play for a surfboard, Frank. Did you know that?
That's cool.
Torrey Pines and La Costa Canyon, Thursday at 7:15. Surfboard. I think LCC takes the surfboard.
I'll go surfing.
I wonder if they've actually surfed with that surfboard. Like if you're the head, like Sean Sovacool and Scott Ashby, like those are the two head coaches at Torrey and LCC. You have to surf with the board, right?
I would have to think.
Come on, you got to surf with the board. I bet you Sovacool's done it before. I bet you he has.
That's cool.
I'm just saying. I think they got to be able to. If you win the rivalry trophy and it's a surfboard, you got to surf with it. Do you not?
See, this is why you gotta build a school next to the beach.
There's a lot of those.
Find right on the beach. Play for a surfboard, and the winning team immediately just goes running on the beach with the surfboard
at 9 or 10 o'clock at night in October. Yeah, that sounds great.
Exactly.
Love going into the ocean at night.
Well, you got lights. You could
still. You kidding me? I'm not afraid of a lot of things. Being in the ocean at night sounds.
Make it an afternoon game
terrifying.
then. What do you want?
Play at 3:30 like
start
Julian?
the game at 3 o'clock. Yeah. Come on.
Oceanside El Camino rivalry game.
We're trying to have some fun
Thursday.
Here.
Oceanside El Camino. Carlsbad Del Norte Thursday game. There's a lot of good Thursday games. Cathedral UC, Valhalla Santana.
And let's be honest. Most high school kids aren't going surfing. Most high school football players aren't going surfing. So you're going to go in the water. You're going to stand on the board. You're going to bust your butt one time, and then that's it. So there you go.
This is San Diego, dude. The high school football players do surf. There's probably a decent amount that probably surf.
I didn't know many. I didn't know any, as a matter of fact.
Vista RBV, another good game. I'm curious what Jim Bowden knows that we don't. Are the Padres winning the Powerball? He said projected. He said like teams that are interested, that teams that they fit.
Yeah, he does that every year.
Escondido San Pascual is another good rivalry. A lot of good rivalry games this week. Well, those are all the Thursday games in high school football. All right, I want to dive into speaking of the, whatever it's called, free agency. Mm-hmm. This is something that I think is going to interest. Maybe we're making it a bigger deal than it is. Okay, maybe we're making a bigger deal of it than it is. But how you manage signings in this offseason when it comes to the collective bargaining agreement being expiring at the end of the 2026 season, from a player standpoint and from a ownership standpoint, most likely general manager standpoint. Let me ask this question. Let's say you're a free agent in baseball. You're Michael King, you're Dylan Cease, you're Ryan O'Hearn, you're Luis Arraez. Does it make sense at all for anybody to sign a one-year contract?
No.
Knowing that 2027
absolutely not
is going to get shut down at some point in time?
Mm-mm.
How about the factor of a potential salary cap or salary floor being put into place? I would imagine if they decided to do that, if they are able to convince the players or give them enough and something else to get that deal done on a salary cap, salary floor in Major League Baseball, and that's a major if. But if that happens, I would imagine that everybody that's currently under contract is going to be grandfathered in, right? You're not going to be, you're not going to tell them like, hey, away. You're not getting this money now anymore.
Yeah, no.
Or now all of a sudden, the Padres can't spend any money because they're over the cap and they got to start cutting guys. I can't imagine they're going to make, especially for a team like the Dodgers, they're not going to make them just like shed payroll all the time. So from a player's perspective, if you're a player that's in his 30s and you want that big contract, shouldn't you try to get that as quickly as possible?
Yeah, get it now. Because there's a likely chance that you're not going to be getting it again. You're not going to get that opportunity again.
No. But here's the other thing. Let's say you're Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso ended up signing for a one-year deal this year, right?
No, it was
an opt-out.
It was a 2-year with an option.
Still, it's a small deal because they didn't get what he wanted during last year's deal. He wants a big contract. He's 30 years old. Did he already opted out, right?
Yeah,
Did he not? He didn't take the option.
He opted out night of.
Yeah. Okay. So he's a free agent, right? Last year he had to do this because he waited until he tried to wait for the deal, and then he overplayed his hand. And in spring training, he ended up having to go back to the Mets and sign this one-year deal, 2-year deal with the player, 1-year deal with the player option.
Yeah, he went to Boris and said, "Whatever you have to do, get me back to New York."
So you can't do that if you're a big player this year. If you overplay your hand early in the offseason and you don't get to until the spring, all these teams know that you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get that contract anymore. The one thing you can't do is sign for a 1 or 2 year deal and then not get the money on the next round through. Like, I'm watching this Alex Bregman situation. He wants a big deal with the new CBA coming in. Is he going to be able to do that? If he doesn't get the $40 million a year that he was getting with the Red Sox? I mean, it's an interesting way to go about this. And if you're a Major League Baseball team, you're like, why am I going to give this guy a gigantic contract right now when I could just wait? And then all of a sudden, all these prices might come down a little bit. We'll talk more about that as we get to the 1 o'clock hour of the Braden Surprenant Show. The biggest fan contest returns on Monday, November 3rd. Grand prize is a night in the Odyssey Suite with 20 tickets for you and your friends to watch a future Padres game with the whole fan staff. Register your name at 97throughthefansd.com/biggest fan and listen when we announce names each day at 9 a.m., 1 p.m., and 5:30 p.m. for your chance to qualify. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3. The Fan. Coming up in the next hour on Gwynn and Chris, Stephen Strasburg will be joining the Gwynn and Chris program at 2:40. It's a nice little guest to get in the first. We had a lot of Aztec guests today on the station. We had David Velasquez on talking about Aztec basketball. They got a game against USD tomorrow in an exhibition at Viejas Arena at 7 o'clock. Yes, you can attend. I don't know what the situation is with like tickets and stuff for that. Are they even charging for that game? I'd have to look it up. The exhibitions have been weird because a lot of in the past, these have all been closed door scrimmages and you're trying to figure out like what, who did what. Both teams said they won. They were keeping track. It was this, So I don't know if you can go. I know the students can go. I don't know if it's free or whatever. It's a free preseason game, so they are charging. I wonder if you can get your tickets online. Anyway, go Aztecs.com if you want to see tickets to that. Aztec basketball, again, starts next week. A week from today, they'll be playing real basketball games as they tip off the season against Long Beach State on Tuesday of next week, November 4th. Aztec baseball brought up some good players as freshmen. They have good players in the transfer portal. They just added Stephen Strasburg. Again, he'll be on with Gwen and Chris at 2:40. Game will not be televised tomorrow, but you can listen to it on usdtoreros.com. I will have the call with Jack Cronin. So, Cody in Wyoming, you can listen to the broadcast. I think we're the only ones doing it. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. All right. We're going to get to the NFL overreactions later on in this hour. We're going to talk about last night's Monday Night Football game as well to get some NFL talk mixed in on a Tuesday. But right now, I want to dive a little bit deeper into this free agent list and really the strategy for signing free agents and what a player's strategy is going into this offseason, knowing that 2027 is not guaranteed, knowing that we're heading for a lockout or a holdout in 2027 as Major League Baseball tries to figure out ways to add a salary cap, it seems like, or a salary floor, which I'm in favor for. I have to always specify this. I don't really care how much money the owners make or how much money players make. I don't really care. As somebody that's not affected by either, I want the best product possible. I am somebody that likes baseball. I am somebody that likes sports. I would like sports to be as competitive as possible. I think that's the most fun and entertaining version of sports. Would anybody disagree with that? Frank, would you rather watch blowouts all the time or highly competitive games where anybody can win on any single day?
That one.
That one. So as baseball fans, right? As a sports fan, Frank, and I know you're working on stuff. I'm going to use you here. As a sports fan, you want the sports that you like to be as entertaining as possible, correct? It's entertainment. You use sports as a way to be entertained or distract you from things or whatever it may be. That's what sports are for. And even though it's a big business because it's entertaining and people want to be entertained. It's entertainment. And the best form of entertainment are things that are exciting. And sports that are exciting are usually sports that have underdogs that can compete, or it can have evenly matched teams, and everything's different, and it keeps you on your toes, and you don't know what's going to happen next. So that's how I like sports. And sometimes with sports, you like to have a favorite team. And I do have a favorite team. I have the San Diego Padres here. I have a favorite team in college football. I have favorite teams in college football. I have a favorite team in college basketball. And for all the sports that I do like to watch, most of the time I do have a favorite team. But on top of that, as a fan of the sport, I like things to be different. I like seeing underdogs win. I like seeing games be close. You like seeing the best players in the world play their ass off every single night. That is what people like about. That's what sports people like about sports. Now, celebrity fans that don't really know anybody, like a lot of the fans that you see at the Dodger games during the postseason, which is a drastically different fan base that you see during the regular season. Those fans just want to see the Dodgers dominate. I mean, those are non-sports people. The ones that show up in the playoffs at ballparks that want to be seen necessarily more than like just seeing the game. The non-sports people, they view sports differently on how they watch things. They like seeing the traditional teams win because that's the only teams they know. It's a different kind of level. But for all of us diehard sports fans and all of us diehard sports people, we want to see the most entertaining product as possible. I don't really have an NFL team. I kind of watch the Cowboys, but not really. Ever since the Chargers left, I don't really care. I don't really have a team. But for somebody that watches the NFL, what I like about the NFL is all the games, except for last week, by the way. Last week was kind of an anomaly in the National Football League, but all the games are coming down to the final couple minutes, and they're entertaining. And guys are battling, and guys are playing their ass off. I love that about the Four Nations face-off for hockey. That was phenomenal. It was the best hockey players in the world representing their country and playing their ass off. That's what people want to see. And so for me, when it comes to any type of decision that affects these leagues, whether it be postseason, whether it be, like playoff formats, league rules, ways that payroll has been established, I'm in favor of whatever makes the game competitive. And so at the end of the day, I don't really care if the owners make more money than the players. I don't really care if the players make the same amount of money as the owners. I don't care how much money either of them make. They should make what they're worth. What I do care about is I would like to see all the teams in Major League Baseball have to spend money and have to be controlled of how much money they spend and use that money wisely in strategy of, I'm going to invest in this position, which means I can't invest in that position, and seeing talent spread out amongst all of baseball. With the new schedule that baseball has and being able to see every single team at home every 2 years, it would be nice for every single team to have 3 or 4 stars on their team. These super team Globetrotter teams where just money just saves the day all the time, to me, is very boring. I don't think it's entertaining. I really don't. Even if the Padres had it all, it'd be slightly more entertaining just because it was your team and the fact that the Padres have never won before. But aside from that, it would get very boring. It's a boring product when the same team wins all the time. It's a boring product when there's no drama. There's no, I can't believe this team won. There's no excitement. And what a salary cap does and what a salary floor does is it brings excitement because it starts spreading out the talent to all the teams. And I think both things should be said. Number one, the teams at the top of the halves that have all this money that they get because they have their own TV contracts, which is different than than most of the other sports that have a unison TV contract that can spend enormous amounts of money and just buy their way out of problems, is not good for a league. It's not. It's not good for a league. And Dodger fans and their teams get all offended by that. They're like, what do you mean we're not great for baseball? What do you mean? It's not entertaining. It's boring. You just have all the best players. It's lame. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody cares. You're going to be the team that kills the golden goose for your own selfish need, and then you're not going to get paid as much in the long run because, I don't know, people are going to stop watching because it's not entertaining. I mean, the NBA's ratings continue to plummet. They're going to plummet even more when people see this report about the FBI. And now all of a sudden, people are just naturally going to think that the games are rigged. Why would I watch a rigged sport? It's why sports people don't watch the WWE. People watch the WWE where it's, they view it as a soap opera or a television show. Nobody cares about those things. So those teams are a problem for baseball. The Dodgers, the Yankees, Red Sox. I mean, the teams that spend way too much money and can buy their way out of problems. They're not the only problem, though. The other problem is the bottom. And all the teams that don't spend any money and just collect checks. That is also the problem. Those teams are also not entertaining. Both things can be true. Because every time I mention that the Dodgers spend a ridiculous amounts of money and it's a joke with the deferred payments, all Dodger fans are like, yeah, it's not us. It's actually the A's. Hey, I'm going to get to them. It is the A's too. You're not wrong. Teams like the Athletics and teams like the Pirates and teams like all of these organizations that claim that they're not making any money and therefore can't spend any money on players are equally a problem to the situation. They should be forced to have to pay a minimum amount to their players. That's exactly what they should be doing. So when you have organizations that are just collecting checks instead of using the money that they get on this shared profits that the league does, which has their own loopholes in itself that the Dodgers are taking advantage of. But when those teams are collecting those $70 million, $50 million, and aren't putting it in their payroll, that makes this glaring problem of there's about 10 to 12 teams that can win a World Series, and that's basically just because baseball's a fluky sport and anything can happen in baseball. It's not because every team is entertaining and talented. And the other thing, too, is once the deadline passes, you're basically just waiting around for the playoffs to start because it's not entertaining baseball. Because you have all these great teams that are now super teams after the trade deadline competing with a bunch of teams that just don't even care to be there anymore. So how do you fix that problem? And right now, Major League Baseball understands that a lot of their fans are going to start walking away after seeing what has been just dysfunction with payroll spending. They know it, and the teams know it. And that's why the owners want to get ahead of this. And so that's why they want to put in a salary cap. Now, players don't want a salary cap because they don't think they can, because all of a sudden, the $50 million that they're making a year up to they can't make the $70 million. They have to stay with the $30 million instead, which then gets to a point of how much more do you really need? I believe you get what you should pay for. You should be paid what you're worth. But here's the other thing that the players don't like about a salary cap is they want to get paid $70 million a year, but they also want to be on a good team and want you to spend on all the other players so their team's good. They don't want the $70 million a year that they take all the money that the team has in a budget and spending it just on them, and then the team, they don't want to be on a bad team too. That's where they get the problem. That's why they don't like the salary cap, is the guys at the top that are making gobs of money that want to make as much money as possible, which is fine, also want to be on a really good team, and they don't think it's fair that they don't get surrounded by talent. In order to make this league better, you have to put in a salary cap and you have to put in a salary floor. And so that's going to be the big decision-making in the next CBA. And I don't know what the owners have to do to try to convince the players who will never get a salary. I keep being told they will never get a salary cap. They're going to have to find reasons to entice the players. Otherwise, this is going to be a long-ass lockout. Long. And with the long-ass lockout, there's a lot of decisions that need to be made by players that understand if there is a lockout for a long period of time, I'm not going to get paid. If I'm a free agent during said lockout, that's also going to make things worse because I'm not even going to have a team. I'm just going to lose a year. I got to make sure I get my contract that I want, because what's going to happen if it does pass and there is a salary cap and a salary floor? All of a sudden, those players' options are going to be different, because we know for a fact, not a fact, I have a 95% confidence level that if they do put in a salary cap or a salary floor, anybody under contract is probably going to be grandfathered in. They ain't going to make these teams cut those players, and those players aren't going to lose out on money. There's no way the Players Association would allow that. So I look at the strategies here, Frank. The strategies of being a free agent. And right now, I want to try to sign anything close to a long-term deal as quickly as possible before those start evaporating the closer I get to spring training, where a lot of organizations know, why am I going to give this guy a contract in spring when I have all the leverage knowing that we could be having a lockout coming up and we could be having a salary cap? Why put myself under the bind of paying this guy a lot of money, where if he just signs a one-year deal, I could get him for a way better value?
Oh, exactly. The players are going to want to get these contracts done as quickly as possible to avoid that, but the owners are going to want to hold out as long as they possibly can so they can bring that price down. They may not be concerned with the years, but going on the price that they are going to have to pay, that is a game that is going to happen this offseason. There's a good chance that you're going to see a lot of players not have teams in January, February, getting closer and closer to March into spring training. It's going to be interesting how this game gets played. And I think that you're going to have guys who I think have the best relationships with the teams that they're either going to or staying on, such as if Alex Bregman wants to go back to Boston, if Pete Alonso wants to go back to New York. they have that relationship built up already, and they can kind of reach a middle ground to get the deal done early. If you're looking at a guy, if say Pete Alonso doesn't want to go back to the Mets, that's going to be a relationship that you're going to have to build. You're going to have to, it takes time. You're going to want to take as much as you can. You also want to spend as little as you possibly can. And those are the deals I think that are going to wait until the latest possible chance.
Who's got all the leverage right now going into the offseason? The players or
the owners?
The teams?
The owners, the teams.
The teams do, for sure. And people it's not going to be collusion. There's to be like, it's not worth paying this kind of money.
Yeah, we have a lockout coming, and we have a lockout coming, and you want the most money you can get.
And we don't want to give you 10-year contracts.
I can give you that money, but I can give it to you next year when there's a cap on how much I can give you.
The players that are the mid-tier free agents, like on this Jim Bowden article, and I'm looking at guys like, basically because there's not a lot of options out there in general, but like players in their mid-30s, young to mid-30s, it's going to be better for them to sign smaller deals than try to get that big deal that they're never going to get. But for players like basically 16 on.
16 on up or 16 on down?
16 on down. Like Shane Bieber and company, just where they're at in their career, I think it's going to be fine for them. It's actually I'll probably go lower on the list. Because, like, some of these players are going to hold out for a big contract. Like, Eugenio Suarez, he might be a guy that waits for, like, a big deal. He's 34 years old, though. But I'm talking about, like, let's go 20 down. Like, Merrill Kelly at 37 years old.
He's not going to.
He's going to get a deal that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And he's going to get, like, a 2 to 3 year deal. And it's going to be not a lot of money, but he's going to be under contract. It's going to work out for him. Gleyber Torres, Jorge Polanco, JT Realmuto, if Trent Grisham thinks he's going to get a big contract, he's not. He's going to get hosed by the situation in the springtime. Those guys are all going to be fine. I think those guys are going to fly off the board once free agency starts.
Yeah, it's the big name guys that you're going to have to watch out for. And
you're talking about the Kyle Tuckers, the Pete Alonsos. You're talking about the Kyle Schwarbers. You're talking about the Framber Valdez's of the world.
Those big name guys, I think the only way they're coming off the board quick is if a Ranger Suarez stays in Philadelphia. If they stay where they are. I don't think they're going to go to a new team early unless they already had a team in mind and they're going to their favorite team kind of thing. That's the only way I see big name free agents not signing quickly, is if they're staying put where they are.
I can see a lot of Boras clients being unsigned in March, and they're going to be in trouble.
Wow, that's a rickety little ledge you're out on.
Well, there's only a handful of Boras guys right now in the top 10.
But they always do that, though.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I bet you Kyle Tucker signs before that. Kyle Tucker's not a Boras client. They might understand, like, we got to get this deal done or else we're in trouble. But here's the thing about the Boras clients. You hire Boras to get as much money as possible. Boras doesn't need the money. He'll sit there and wait.
Mm-hmm.
They'll wait, and they'll keep waiting. And the last couple of years have not really worked out for the Boras clients too much.
No, I think Alonso fired him because of that.
Pete Alonso is still represented by the Boras.
So he almost fired him.
He might this year.
He came that close to firing him last year over what happened.
Boras clients in the top 10. Pete Alonso, 3. And then you get to Alex Bregman, 6. There you go. That's why he opted out.
Mm-hmm.
Ranger Suarez, 7. Dylan Cease, 8. Tatsuya Imai?
One of the
Japanese players?
Yeah,
For the Nippon Professional Baseball League?
Yes. We'll dive into more of these guys tomorrow.
He's a Boras client. Like Cody Bellinger, I think, is hosed. He's 30 years old. He's going to want it. He hasn't gotten the big deal yet. He's going to want to try to get a big deal. I don't know if teams are willing to dish out a huge deal to him before a potential lockout.
Oh.
I just don't see that happening. Jim Bowden gave him a 6-year, $168 million contract on a guess.
In a normal year, he might get it. Not this year.
$28 million a year. You going to do that right before a lockout? I don't know about that. It's an interesting topic of conversation. When we come back, Chiefs and Commanders from last night. Break that game down. We'll get to the overreactions to finish up the show. Gwen and Chris coming up next at 2 o'clock on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All guests on 97 through the Fan join us via the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Talk a little bit. I was going to talk a little bit about Monday Night Football, but just for the soundbite. Monday Night Football. How big of a disappointment are the Commanders this year? They're incredibly disappointing.
Yeah, but it's with an injured quarterback as well. So I don't know. Oh, we're questioning whether or not to throw a penalty on.
That's intentional grounding.
Yes.
He intentionally grounded the football.
We're questioning whether or not to throw a penalty on
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Now, there you go. That's from last night. Chiefs won 28-7 of the Commanders. The Commanders are, they're even with Jaden Daniels, they hadn't been very good. It's been a very small amount of time, but it's just they've been a very disappointing team for a team that was really good last year. I know they've had injuries. Everybody's got injuries. They're now 3-5 after the loss. Kansas City's starting to heat up. They're 5-3. There's not so much I could break down about this game. I mean, Kansas City controlled the game the whole time. You saw Rashid Rice come back. Great.
Fun.
But that recapped the rest of the NFL weekend. A 28-7 victory for the Chiefs. We're going to get to the overreactions in the next segment. But I did want to see, have you seen, finally people are, by the way, I want to say that I was the first one of the 2014 playoff for college football. If the FCS can do it, why can't the FBS do it? Just to quote Mike Leach. So the 2014 playoff is starting to circle amongst a lot of outlets.
Mm-hmm.
To potentially do a 2014 playoff. Now, however you want to do it is different. The Big Ten here's what happened was the Big Ten and the SEC wanted to do it, but they each get 8 automatic qualifiers, which would be utterly ridiculous.
Let's back down on that.
That'd be utterly ridiculous.
No, it would not.
Yeah, it would.
No,
8 automatic qualifiers?
Stop it.
Yes, it would.
They make the most money.
What does that mean?
They're
not good.
They make the most money. Doesn't matter. You want money? That's how you do it.
That is a dumb comment because, everybody wants to watch Minnesota play football.
Yes.
No, they don't. Absolutely not.
Stop it.
The Golden Gophers?
Their ratings were great this week.
No, give me a break.
They were.
Yeah, the ratings were great
ratings.
Because the TV networks that have the deals with these schools put them in the prime spots every single week.
There you go. See that?
Yeah. If they put the other teams in the prime spots and the prime channels, they'd probably do pretty well too.
We tried that already.
Yeah,
Didn't work.
Sure they did.
Did not work.
Yeah, nothing like putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Missouri Tigers in the playoff for them to get smoked by somebody. Stupid. It's stupid. It's all fake. It's all fake smoke and mirrors on talent because they have
these are good teams.
Big fan bases because, as I mentioned before, there's nothing to do in the state of Indiana. It's a boring state. Yeah, I said it again.
You can go see a Purdue Boilermaker game.
Why would I do that? To watch the Purdue kid in the back of the end zone not realize that the paint in the end zone was a different color?
Shut up, man.
Thought he scored a touchdown. He was actually out of bounds. We want to watch that football team play football?
Listen, we all make mistakes.
Yeah, let's go watch Iowa football not score any points. Which I will say, they actually have scored a lot of points this year. So, just saying. But anyway, the 2014 playoff has been something that's been discussed. The power two, if you will, the Big Ten and the SEC want to hog everything to make all this money.
Yes, they should.
No, it's a joke.
No, it's not.
It's a joke. Stop it. So anyway, you look at the 2014 playoff that actually makes sense. And when media outlets come up with some of these things, like individuals that understand the benefit of college football, it comes out a little bit different, where each power conference gets 4 automatic qualifiers. Makes sense. The group of 6 get 2 automatic qualifiers, and then you have 6 at large. That's not bad. It's a little bit different than what I would do, but it's still not bad. I would be all for that. You would see a bracket that would be fun to watch. In the Big Ten, Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana, Michigan would all make the college football playoff. Texas A&M, Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss would all make the college football playoff. BYU, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Houston would all make the college football playoff. Georgia Tech, Louisville, Virginia and Pitt would all make the college football playoff. Memphis and Navy would make the college football playoff, all as automatic qualifiers. You're into at-large. Notre Dame would make it. Miami would make it. Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Missouri, Texas would make it. And then you have a bunch of teams that are in the hunt. I'd be all for it. The other thing I would do that was different when talking about 2014 playoff. You're like, that's too many games. Well, why does the FCS do it? Here's the other caveat. I wouldn't do a conference championship week. But what I would do is I'd go 11 games the regular season, then do a conference, then do a final week of the season where you don't know your opponent till you finish the standings, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have the top 2 teams in the Big Ten play in the conference championship, and then you have 3 and 4 play. But what I would do is I would do 3 automatic qualifiers for each. And so, like, whoever wins the conference gets an automatic bye in the tournament.
Yes.
So all the conference champions are the 1 versus 2. Whoever wins that game gets a bye.
Yes.
And then whoever loses that game's already in. And then the 3 versus the 4 at the end of the year, as part of the conference championship weekend, whoever wins that game is in the playoff, and the other team is not automatically in. They have to wait for selection day the next day. I think that would be must-watch entertainment.
That's not bad.
And you do it with every conference. So the conference championship weekend, instead of you only having 10 conference games, 10 championship games, you double that, essentially, at least in the power schools. So you would have 2 Big Ten championship. You'd have the championship game, and then you would have the winners in game. Play-in game. And you would do that for the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12. And so if you finish in the top 4, you have the top 3 get the automatic qualifier, and then whoever wins whoever loses that whatever game is now at the at-large selection, at the mercy of that. Yes.
I got a question.
Okay, Big Ten, Frank.
If only 3 get in, how are 8 Big Ten and SEC teams getting in?
That's what the at-large is for, Frank. You could stack all your at-large deals there.
Right, but are they like locked at large where they have to have X amount of Big Ten?
They'd have to actually physically earn it on the field, which I know is difficult for schools in the Big Ten because they never actually earn anything.
That's a problem. That's gonna be a problem.
That's a problem for us in the Big Ten because in the Big Ten, we like pretending that we're good at football.
We invented college football.
So therefore, we rig everything to make sure that we are in and we win, and then we puff our chest out thinking we're the best.
We invented college football.
Same thing with the SEC. That's right. That's again, and then they establish everything. When you wonder why that's the only games you can watch on television. It's all scam.
Well, you should be able to watch whatever team you want, especially when you create the sport.
You know what, Frank? I got a better idea. Why don't they just have the Big Ten only? Just have the Big Ten play a whole season and then play the playoffs.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. Everybody wants to see Purdue play Maryland in a playoff game.
Make all the Purdue's happy.
Yeah. The Purdue's. As they play the Golden Gophers.
Yep. There you go.
There you go.
Make them happy.
I don't like Big Ten, Frank. He's been extra crusty since Penn State started the season 0-4.
No,
in the conference play.
Oh,
yeah, they did. They're 0-4. They still haven't won a conference game.
No, you said you
started the season 0-4 in conference. 0-4.
Listen, it's Aztec time, baby.
Get to beat Ohio State.
It's Aztec. You're funny.
That would be the best ever.
They can't beat.
You know what I love, by the way?
They can't beat Ohio State.
You know what I love?
Normally.
You know what I love about this? You know, with the Ohio State fans now are all like, "Oh, I'm so glad we have Ryan Day and we don't have a circus problem like all these other schools firing their coaches." Brother, you wanted to fire him after you lost to Michigan again.
Yes,
that was less than 365 days ago. He was about to get fired, and now it's like we love Ryan Day. You know what? If I played the schedule Ohio State played, I'd be like that too. You want to hear the schedules Ohio State played this year?
It is Aztec football time. We've focused solely on Aztec football, and give it a couple more days, and it will be Hofstra basketball time. That's all that matters to me.
Here's what Ohio State played this year: Texas, who's
fair enough,
beat Texas by 7. Grambling
Big
State,
12 team.
they're in the SEC now.
They're a Big 12 team.
No, they're not. SEC school. Grambling State. Ohio. The Bobcats.
They can bite you.
At Washington. Wow. Minnesota. The Golden Gophers. Nice. Illinois. No longer ranked. Wisconsin. Who's awful. Then they got Penn State, Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers, and they finished with Michigan, which is their one loss every single year. Because for some reason, Ohio State can't beat Michigan. What a schedule, Frank.
Yeah, it's tough.
Here's where I'm going to be. I'm going to pretend I'm in an SEC school. If an SEC school had that schedule, they'd be undefeated.
Okay, dude.
They'd be undefeated, too.
You could just say that like a normal person. Like,
no,
come on.
I can make fun of them Southerners. That's what they sound like.
Okay, dude. Jesus.
If they played the same schedule, they'd be undefeated.
Come on.
How many times do you see that on social media? Every day. The SEC is undefeated in hypothetical games. Just remember that. When we come back, yeah, as Nikki said, another hypothetical natty for the SEC. Check. And it's funny, it's always the schools that don't actually win down there. It's the Mississippi State fans of the world. Nice job. Nice job beating Arizona State. Anyway. Overreactions, the NFL Week 8 when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Final hour of the Braden Surprenant Show, brought to you by Toyota Poway, but it's San Diego's #1 Toyota dealer by USA Today, with APRs as low as 0%. Tons of new Toyotas on the ground. No tricks, only treats during the Trucktober sales event happening now only at Toyota Poway or online at toyotapoway.com in the heart of San Diego. Everybody thinks I'm a Michigan fan now in the chat. Just wait. Just wait for when Ohio State beats Michigan. I'll just turn on Michigan.
There it is.
Stirring the pot.
One of them front runners, ain't
The
you?
Ohio State fans are so upset right now. Hey, man, I'm just saying the schedule's easy. That's all I'm saying. You're challenging yourself. Come on, Texas, really? Arch Manning at quarterback? That's a big win now? Come on. No, I hate Michigan, Clay. Remember, the only team to beat Michigan in those 2 seasons where they won a national championship was the Frogs. Something Ohio State could never do. This is the best part about college sports. You can talk smack on everybody's team. It's great. It's a great time. I don't want to talk smack on Penn State. I have too many friends that are Penn State fans. Plus, it's kicking a horse while it's down at this point. I'd love to see Penn State win.
It would be nice. It'd be hilarious.
That would be hilarious. If Penn State wins on Saturday, Frank, what are you doing?
Probably going to bed because that's when I will have looked at the score.
Oh, my God.
Like I said, dude, it's Aztec football time, and come Monday, it is Hofstra basketball time. That is what
Hofstra basketball is back, baby.
Playing Central Florida on Monday.
All right. I've incited a riot with the Ohio State fans. It's all in love. It's all fun. Let's get to the overreactions of Week 8 in the NFL.
Let's do that. All righty. As we go on. Start New York, where the soap opera at quarterback continues for the New York Jetropolitans. Justin Fields just delivered the Jets' first win of the year, throwing for 244 yards and a score, while looking more poised than we've seen in weeks. Woody Johnson ripped him just last week, and now he's the hero in Florham Park. But here's the problem. Jets are heading into a brutal post-bye stretch with New England and Cleveland waiting.
Brutal. And for the Jets, that is brutal.
And both of those defenses feast on struggling quarterbacks. Buy or sell, Justin Fields has earned enough trust to be the Jets starter the rest of the way.
Who else is going to start for them? Tyrod Taylor? I'll buy it. I mean, like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with? What are you going to do? It's got to be Justin Fields. Who else are you going to go with? It's the Jets. They beat Cincinnati. Good for them. Yes, that is a tough stretch for Justin Fields because the Browns' D-line is good.
Yeah,
Ask Clay in the South Bay. The Browns' D-line's good. From that point, yes, that is a difficult stretch.
No, go Aztecs. That was not an English are hard.
He just could not believe that Cleveland was mentioned
the tough stretch.
In a tough stretch. I will give my boy Clay some love right there. The D-line for Cleveland's not bad.
Staying up next.
Maybe they'll trade for Joe Flacco.
Staying around Cleveland, 5 sacks, 1 game. That's what Myles Garrett did against the Patriots.
There you go.
He already had 10 sacks. He already has 10 sacks this season, making it 8 straight years of double-digit sacks. And we're not even halfway through. Cleveland might not be good enough to help his awards case, but Garrett himself is single-handedly wrecking game plans every single Sunday. Buy or sell, Myles Garrett is on the way to another Defensive Player of the Year award.
I'll buy it. I don't care how bad the Browns are. Myles Garrett is arguably the best defensive player in the National Football League. I mean, when you talk about defensive players of the year, defensive linemen are a big cause of that. I mean, he can do a lot of things that other people can't do. The most important part of football in the trenches, he is the best player on that side of the ball in that particular position field. Yes, I will buy that. 10 sacks already. We're not even halfway through the year. Yeah, Myles Garrett, beast. And by the way, he gets to play the Jets soon. Rack up some stats against Justin Fields. I want to go back to what Go Aztecs said. Maybe they'll trade for Joe Flacco. Isn't it the rule, like if you beat the other team, you get to take their quarterback on your team? Joe Flacco, new Jets quarterback?
I think that was the rule.
I think that's what the wager was at the beginning of the game. Next one.
So here's the situation in Atlanta. Michael Penix Jr. gets hurt. Kirk Cousins has to step in.
To Adam's nightmare.
And let's be honest, it wasn't good. 173 yards, 10 points, and not much life in the offense. Some people think the Falcons should have dealt him already before this performance hurt his value. But Atlanta's stance all along has been to keep Cousins as an insurance policy. Buy or sell, the Falcons blew it as they missed their best chance to get rid of Kirk Cousins before the upcoming deadline.
I buy it. They did miss out on their best opportunity to get rid of Kirk Cousins. You didn't need to see him play and look that bad against the Dolphins. Everybody thought that was a Falcons fan was worried about Kirk Cousins going out there and dominating a bad Dolphins team who has been awful on defense all year long and couldn't stop a cold. They couldn't stop anything. They were terrible. But they could stop Kirk Cousins, apparently. There's your trade. I mean, all your trade value's gone.
Kirk, the insurance policy Cousins.
But here's the thing. Now he's an expensive backup quarterback. When he could have been the starting quarterback for the Jets or somebody that needed a starting quarterback. I'm surprised they didn't try to trade him to Cincinnati. I mean, are you saying Joe Flacco is better than Kirk Cousins? After that performance, it might be. Now nobody's going to want Kirk Cousins. Now you have a very expensive backup, Atlanta.
Speaking of having a lot of backups in, no Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner, no pass rush, and the Texans made them pay for it. C.J. Stroud had all day to throw, 318 yards, no sacks, and Houston converted over half of its third downs. San Francisco, sitting at 5-3, still has playoff hopes, but without someone who can pressure the quarterback, those hopes are slipping. Buy or sell, 49ers need to make a move for a pass rusher more than any other team in the NFL.
Buy it. Yeah, they do. They need some help on the defensive line. Just like last week, I said the Chargers need to make a move for an offensive lineman. I mean, good thing they got Joe Alt back, but you got to be able to win in the trenches. Hey, look, we get Myles Garrett.
I'm surprised we're actually going to get through all these.
Aha!
Baltimore came into week 8 at 1-5 and spiraling. No Lamar Jackson, bad losses piling up, and now the league is looking into their injury report. Then Tyler Huntley stepped in and sparked a 30-16 win over the Bears.
The Bears.
Suddenly,
hold this L.
They're 2-5 with a soft schedule ahead, and their MVP quarterback expected to be back against Miami. Buy or sell, the Ravens are still alive and can climb back into the AFC playoff race.
Buy it. I absolutely buy that.
Because
the AFC North is so bad. They can still do it. We talked about this, 2 weeks ago, Frank?
Yes.
They have a higher percentage chance of winning every game from here on out. They've already done it once against Chicago. They're going to look at the games that they have in front of them. Lamar Jackson comes back, which means they can use Derrick Henry more. They are going to be, I almost want to say right now, bold prediction, they will be in the playoffs at the end of the season. They have a great chance of doing it. It's not that crazy to say.
No, it's really not.
That division's so bad. Who's going to beat them in that division? Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh's terrible. Cincinnati is terrible. Cleveland has Myles Garrett. That's about it. Ravens can still win that division. Maybe we'll be talking about that when we're out there in Baltimore for the Army-Navy game. Yes. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This has been the Braden Surprenant Show. Coming up next, Gwen and Chris, 97 through the Fan.